The spaces between stars are vast. So vast that man's journeys between them must be counted in lifetimes, bound as his universe is by the restrictions of light speed. His influence extends little beyond his own solar system and its asteroid belt. And contact with those colonies spread thinly around the nearer star systems has been all but lost. It survives only in the form of a complex trade network, which extends across generations as the unmanned shuttles pull their cargo trains across the interstellar distances. But as time passes, some worlds grow so much in self-interest that they lose their feel for the future. The long-term plans of the space trade hold little attraction for them, and the backward slide begins. The cargo shuttles continue to coast between systems, but now, without exception, they pass one world by. Into the spaceways, from an impossible direction, comes a satellite, not of man's making. It scans around itself continuously, checking and comparing signals of all wavelengths, discarding all that is random or natural. When at last it finds the planetary activity it is looking for, the inboard computer triggers a sequence of maneuvers, deflecting it into a stellar orbit and bringing heat-absorbing surfaces to bear. Energy is absorbed. Energy now to spare. And as its surplus floods the cold ship, the voyagers stir, waking from a hibernation of 100 years. As they stretch bent muscles and claw at sticking ice, the ship is observing, collecting, learning. It sees a world of ice and water with a single landmass. And on that landmass, a single sprawling city. It wants that city with all the hunger in its mechanical soul. Far above a world that knows nothing of how to care, the hunter's moon turns in the sky.
Hunter's Moon, an 8-part science fiction serial written by Steve Gallagher. Episode 1. When Central fell, the city was left open to anarchy. At least that's what the police elite anticipated, and what the citizens feared. It didn't happen. The underbelly, that teeming mass of humanity outside city limits on the other side of the river, was far too well organized to see the opportunity pass by. Its council of leaders offered a truce in return for a fair election of government, and the elite were naive enough to think it was a good deal. That left a dead computer, a dead citizen, and Randall. The underbelly wanted a hero, and the citizens wanted a scapegoat. So Randall was unlucky. After all, Mitchell was dead and couldn't trade on reverence. Randall could be much more dangerous.
28 degrees east of north. Correct for movement of the ice flow, that's 32 degrees. Last beacon from the base was...
What the hell do you think you're doing?
Sorry, it's the wind. Here, I brought you a cup of something.
A cup of what?
Oh, I don't know. The labels have all peeled off the dispensing machine.
They're no indication anyway. Is this it?
I spilt most of it. The sea's pretty rough.
It'll get rougher when we start cutting into the ice. This your first time over the Cap?
I've served on an ice cutter before.
Yes, but never on the Ice Palace run. There isn't another like it. There it is. That's the first thick flow. Now you'll see some real cutting.
Where exactly is the ice palace, anyway?
It drifts with the great mass of the ice. See the screen? That's the Ice Palace beacon. It's what we have to follow.
I know where it is, but I don't know what it is.
And you don't need to know. All we have to do is find the place, unload the supplies, and break our way out again.
Sounds dull.
Oh, you'll have enough excitement if the men from the palace try to storm the ship like they did about 3 years ago. The mate had to fight them back from the hatchway with a handgun. It was only that and the shields which stopped us from being overrun.
What do you mean?
Never mind what I mean. Just keep your eyes open when we unload and make sure we don't take back more than we arrive with.
The ice palace. So it's more like a prison.
You're catching on.
Well, I don't like it.
Nobody asked you to like it, mister. You're just paid to do it. And next time you bring me anything from the dispensers, make sure you know what it is and that it's full when it arrives.
I only thought it...
First mates don't think. The captain does all the thinking, and then only when he has to. Otherwise, he does his job. He doesn't ask any questions, and he doesn't give any opinions. Got that, mister?
Yes.
Yes, what?
Yes, sir.
That's right. With only 2 of us on board, I may run a relaxed ship, but I won't have it a sloppy one. When you understand that, we'll get along well together. You, me, and the ship's computer. Do your soul-searching in your own time at home.
Yes, sir.
And stand easy. You'll wear the paint off the bulkhead if you stare at it like that. Just remember that this is a professional operation. Whatever we may feel about the men out in that hellhole doesn't come into it. If you want to keep your conscience happy, remind yourself that our supplies are all that keep them alive.
Don't try.
Don't try. Just do it. And check the angle of inclination. I think we've got a slight list.
Won't the ship's computer compensate?
Not if it's a fault in the stabilizers.
Definite starboard list of 5 degrees. All other systems normal.
If it isn't a fault, the cargo may have shifted. You'll have to go below and check.
Right. Anything else while I'm down there?
Yes, see if you can find a couple of cans of squeeze. Anything's better than this lousy machine coffee.
Hello? Bridge? I'm in number 4 hole.
Not so loud. Almost blew the screws out of the speaker.
Sorry, sir. Is that better?
What's the position with the stabilizers?
Well, nothing shows on any of the telltales, and the cargo hasn't moved at all.
Then we're probably riding a ridge of ice on the port side. I'll make a correction and try to break away. If it doesn't work, we'll just have to live with it.
Right. Anything else while I'm down here?
No, I don't think so. I assume you're familiar with the workings of the hatchway and the slide?
I've used one like it before. You just stand back and the automatic winch does all the work.
Yes, that's right. Your main job will be to watch the ice. Remember what I told you. Check that the cargo's fastened down before you come back to the bridge. You don't want it shifting, on top of the trouble we've already got.
Will do.
Get a move on. It's about time somebody else suffered watching the ice gauges.
Right. Killing talk back.
You find any cans of squeeze?
Sorry. I forgot to look. Shall I go back?
No, I'll go down myself in a minute. Come and take over from me. I'm starting to see double.
What have I got to watch?
You know the basic console layout. The only extra one's that sonic scanner showing the edge thickness of the ice. Use your own judgment to use the leads and weaknesses to follow the course plotted on that screen over there.
What if I go wrong?
Ship's computer will let you know about it. If the computer doesn't, I certainly will.
Yes, sir.
And relax. Follow your intuition if it's strong enough. That's the reason why the computer isn't doing it all. You happy with that?
I think so. Where will you be if I need you?
Just put out a general call on ship's intercom, then I'm bound to hear it. I'm going to see if I can find some squeeze.
Where? In the cargo?
Squeeze for the Ice Palace? That's a joke. There's nothing in that cargo but cladding and piping, and it's the worst quality you're ever likely to see. Don't ask me what they do with it, or what they eat.
Fish. There can't be anything else.
No, there isn't a fish within a 200-mile radius of the camp. The sea was sterilized to prevent them having any measure of independence, and there's nothing tough enough to live on that ice without fish to prey on.
I can see now why they tried to storm the ship. Does anybody ever leave?
In theory, it's possible, but I've never seen it. Look it up in the manual if you're interested in the procedure. Do you want anything from down below?
Oh, I don't think so. I'll call if I need anything.
Yes, do that. Now watch out for the blast when I open the door.
What happened to the shielding on the walkway?
It broke down in the last bad storm. I can't get them to replace it.
There
I'd say the vessel's out of date and not worth renovating. My ship.
Open this door.
Get it open before we break it down.
What's the panic?
Randall's missing. That's a panic.
Missing? Missing where?
If we knew that, he wouldn't be missing.
He's somewhere out on the ice cap. Lobo and Willis are missing as well.
So, what's it to you? I thought you wanted to get rid of Randall anyway.
That's something else. Right now, we want to know what he's doing.
What makes you think I'd know?
You were there when he arrived in the crate, and you were there when he woke up. What did you tell him about the ice palace?
Just the usual, nothing else.
Now, come on, Worm. We know what you're like with a captive audience. What exactly did you tell him?
All right, I'll tell you, but will you close that door? There's a hell of a draft from the passageway.
Close it, Berg.
Here on. Now, Worm, spill.
Start with the recovery room.
We got the icebreaker delivery a couple of shifts back. The usual kind of shipment, just pipe cladding and nothing else, except this oversized crate like a coffin. I caught on straight away.
Stick to the truth.
Well, Willis was actually the first one to realise they'd sent us another prisoner, so we carried it up to the recovery room and sent for the doc.
We being who?
Me, Willis and Lobo. The doc came and we opened the crate, and we all saw it was a citizen they'd sent us. And Willis started getting suspicious.
Did he say why?
Not right away, not to me anyway. Doc pulled all the needles out of the citizen's arm, and 10 minutes later, Lobo was walking him around, trying to get the blood back into his legs.
How did Randall take it?
Damn well. Too well for a citizen. That's what made Willis think he might be police or a spy or something.
What do you think?
Could be. I don't know.
Why are you getting so worried anyway?
Because something stinks. Because there's got to be some reason for Randall to be dumped in this hellhole on top of the world, and I want to know what it is. Until I know that, I don't want him skulking around anywhere I can't see him.
If he's on the surface of the ice, he won't be skulking around. He'll be dead. There's a big storm coming up.
You think we don't know? We were out on pipeline repair when it started. We got driven in when the weather turned bad.
Except that Randall didn't come in with us. Willis turned round in the hatchway and disappeared into the blizzard when he saw Randall was missing, and 5 minutes later, Lobo followed them.
They'll all freeze. They'd hardly have any charge left in their suit heating coils.
So what's the problem? All you have to do is wait for the weather to clear up and then go out and salvage the suit.
If that's all there is to it. But I'm not so sure. What happened after the recovery room?
I brought him here so that I could explain how the palace worked, and so I could write him into the work rosters.
Didn't waste any time, did you?
It's my job, Berg. We couldn't afford to have him sitting in a bunk room and eating the food used without doing something in return, could we?
You seem to manage.
I think that was uncalled for.
Let's stick to the facts, shall we? Come on, Worm. What did you tell Randall?
I'll tell you, Bulstrode. Certain other people don't show enough consideration.
Oh, will you listen
That's
to
what
it?
I'm trying to do.
The last thing he could remember was being in his cell at the city.
That same crap about closing down the computer.
It's what he said, that's all I know. Somebody came in and threw a blanket over his head, and the next thing he saw was the inside of the recovery room.
Yeah.
I told him that the Ice Palace is an unguarded prison complex on the ice cap, 1,000 miles from anywhere.
Get on with
and that
it.
the icebreaker that brought him is our only contact with the city.
Did you explain about the pipelines?
I told him that we were built around an automated power plant which pumps out a constant level of energy, and that the surplus is drained away as radiant heat through the pipelines on the surface.
Worm, I'm getting bored.
I told him that the level of heat loss is critical, and when the bad weather comes, we have to conserve like hell, or we lose our own heat when the cutout operates. Then the yeast tanks cool down, the yeast dies, and we all starve.
One hell of a cheerful story.
What else did you tell him?
Well, that's most of it. I told him that we spent most of our time maintaining the insulation on the pipeline with the cladding sent out from the city.
Most of our time. Only 24 hours a goddamn day in 3 shifts, that's all.
I told him all that. So what did I do wrong?
We'll tell you later.
What's he doing, Berg? Is he a spy or what?
I don't believe that Central's fallen and the underbelly council have taken over, if that's what you mean.
So how else do you explain him?
He's a spy, and Willis spotted it. He unlinked him from the team wire in the blizzard and then went back to finish him off.
And what about Lobo?
Lobo? There's no accounting for that big dumb oaf. He probably got lost all of his own accord.
You think they're all dead?
In this weather? Damn right I do. If we went buried in this place, we'd be dead ourselves. I hope you're right, Berg.
Sure, I'm right. You'll see as much when we drag all 3 of them in by their feet on the next shift. Nobody survives out on the open ice cap in weather like this.
Are you sure this will work, Lobo?
Look, Randall, do you want to talk or dig? Getting good and buried in a foxhole is the only way to survive when it's as bad as this. Believe me, I've done it before.
That should do it. We can sit it out now.
Thanks.
Stopping out here was a damn stupid idea anyway. Why'd you do it?
Wasn't my choice. Willis unclipped me from the team wire and pushed me head first into a snowdrift. When I got up, the team had disappeared into the blizzard and their footsteps had all blown over. What about you?
What about me?
Oh, come on. You must know I'm police. The whole damn palace knows I'm police. So why did you turn back?
I don't know. Suppose I must be as stupid as they all say. That idea of yours about there being something at the other end of the pipeline, that makes some kind of weird sense. Plenty of stories around in the palace about lights in the sky and strangers being seen out on the ice. When I saw you were missing from the line, I thought you'd found something and stayed behind.
I'm sorry to disappoint you.
Oh, I'm sorry as well. We're in a big trouble when we get back to the palace now.
We won't have to go back. I still think I'm right, and there's something out there on the ice. As soon as the storm cools down, we'll find out.
Oh, I like that. If it cools down anymore, it'll freeze that goddamn sunlight.
Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah. What are you staring at?
Nothing. Thought I heard a noise, but I must be wrong.
What kind of noise?
It sounded like footsteps. They couldn't be. I'd never hear them over that wind.
You might if the snow's packed hard enough. Can you hear them now?
No.
Hell, I wonder if they've come out after us.
That's right. They haven't wasted any time. I'm probably mistaken.
Mistaken or not, we'd be stupid to ignore it. I don't want to crawl out and see Berg bearing down on me waving a club.
I wasn't sure.
That's it. That's what I thought I heard. One man. Getting nearer. It doesn't sound like Berg. It's not heavy enough.
It isn't. There's nobody from the palace.
Then who?
I already told you. Where's the snow thinnest?
Why, what are you going to do?
For the sake of my own sanity, I'm going to poke my head out and have a
Don't
look.
be stupid. You give us away. You can't hope for magical saviors in hell.
Magic nothing. It's a man, and he came from the other end of the pipe network. I'll try and see where he goes.
Oh, Randall is bad enough already.
The snow's already crusted on the outside. If we don't move soon, we'll be sealed in.
What's it like?
Not too bad. There's a thick mist coming up, though.
You see your savior, man?
I can't see even his tracks. No, wait. There. Some distance away and not moving. That's why I missed him.
Can he see you?
Watching the sky, if anything, out in the middle of the open plain. And he's not from the palace.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, just
let me see.
Come on. Look, to the right and down slope, where it levels off.
What am I supposed to be looking at?
Single figure, upright on the clear ice.
Yeah, I got him. Okay, Randall, you're right. I'm a dumb brute. Who is he?
I don't know. Seems to be waiting for something.
And while you're puzzling that one out, maybe you'd like to tell me where all this light's coming from.
What do you mean?
Well, since when did the sun burn under the ice?
Damn it, that's it. A ring of buried flares. That's where the power goes at the height of every storm.
That's getting too damn bright to look. Where does that leave your second ice palace?
No. What's the use of so much buried light in a place like this?
Take your hand off my goddamn arm!
What?
Your goddamn hand, it's burning me!
But I... Look at you. Every hair standing on end.
No! What the hell happened?
I don't know. It's like somebody reached over and put a lid on the sky.
I know, but why? Come on, Randall, you're so smart.
I don't know. I saw the underneath of something close overhead, and that's all.
Hey, that's what causes the storms. Not the heat from the lousy pipes. Feel that wind. And the soup units are shot, both of them.
How long can we survive without power?
How long does it take a fish to blink?
We've got to move.
Oh, brilliant, Cop. Where?
I don't know.
What the hell did you leave me in?
I led you nowhere. You followed me.
Oh, you mean you left me a choice?
I'm sorry, Lobo.
No, I'm sorry. May as well admit we're both scared. My suit's losing heat already.
We'll have to go down onto the plane unless you can think of anything else.
Well, we may be risking a reception.
But not necessarily a bad one. Like it or not, we're committed. If we try to go back, they'll tear us up.
And if we go on, let's move.
You sure?
I don't care where I go. I'm cold.
I've seen one of those before.
Where?
The old spaceport where the hospitals are. Except the one I saw was wrecked and broken open. It hadn't flown in 100 years.
Okay, so assume it is an in-system cargo shuttle.
There's no assume about it. You can even read the numbers on the side.
Well, that's not the point. What I'm saying is, why here?
The landing point. Oh, don't you see? The Ice Palace was never designed as a prison. Central just adapted the existing power plant for the landing site. It all makes sense. The computer could only produce solutions to existing problems. For Central to design the Ice Palace as a prison from scratch, it would first have to define its own problem, which it wasn't capable of doing. You with me?
No, but forget it for now. Where do we go to get warm?
Well, there's the shuttle itself, or there's that open bay at the far end of the field.
Which then?
I'd go for the bay first. It'll lead to cargo space underground. We don't know how well defended the shuttle might be.
That's a hell of a long way to run across open ice. It's hard enough to stay upright when you walk.
What do you want to do? Stay here and become your own commemorative statue?
Hey, what's one of those?
Oh, forget it. You ready to go?
Jesus, Randall, I'm dying here. What's keeping you going?
I'm the best that Central could make. I was selected at the baby farm and trained until it was impossible to take anything else in. I can outfight, outmove, and outthink any non-elite in the world.
Sounds like you've got a lot to thank the city for.
No, because I was never given the choice to be anything else. Now, come on.
You nearly saw us. That damn wagon came too close for my liking.
I know him. I'm sure of it. No detail I can put my finger on.
It's probably just another citizen. Worry about it later. Where's the heat?
It's less here than I expected. This isn't a cargo complex. It's just a single warehouse. There'll be more, but they're not opened up.
It must be true then. Central's fallen and the space trade's reopened.
I don't know what's true and what isn't anymore. Even if they have reopened the trade, it's 30 years to the nearest system. Unless they found a way to beat light speed. And that would take something far more sophisticated than the old shuttle out there on the field. That's got to be 100 years old and pre-Central.
So who's using it? And what's this place?
Part of an old dockyard, I guess. The rest will be buried under the ice all round us. One hangar open and that's it.
Open for what? I mean, how can it help us?
I don't know on both counts. That wagon was loading crates, but don't ask me what's in them.
You want to find out?
Risky. What if he comes back?
Oh, we steal his wagon. I can't do any more walking out there.
Don't much go for the idea of running for the shuttle. We might be picked off before we get near it.
Shove the shuttle. We take the wagon back to the Ice Palace.
You're joking. After the way we left?
Now all that's changed. Now we've got something to trade, something they can't turn down. A way out. 2 of us would get picked off, but 60 could storm on board and take it.
So why wasn't that tried with the icebreaker?
It was, but it failed because the boat was shielded against attack. This is just a freighter, you said.
That's all very well. I mean, people like Berg tend to hit first and save the discussion for the long winter evening.
You leave Berg to me. I know these people. And if I don't get to some shelter in the next 10 minutes, I shall have had it.
Seems to be decided for us, then. I can hear the wagon coming back.
Well, I'm not fit for much. Let's see how good this elite training really is.
Keep your head down and wait until he's got the last crates loaded. Then, when he's round the other side, we can move forward and get onto the control platform. Unless the controls are complicated, we should be on our way out of the bay before he realizes what's going on.
If he takes a run and catches up?
That's where we measure the value of elite training.
He's done loading.
Now, wait till he's out of sight. Then move. Now!
Oh, that was fast. What did you press?
Nothing. There are no controls.
What do you mean?
Well, nothing to start it, nothing to steer it.
Then who's driving?
Nobody. It's automatic. It starts off when you put weight on the control platform.
Oh, and it's taking us straight to the goddamn shuttle.
We're alone so far. Now let's get hidden fast.
Hey, Randall, this end crate's half open.
Don't worry about it later. Come on.
Randall, this is important.
Still staying alive.
Yeah, but I can see inside, and it's like one of the transport coffins. Willis is in there.
Come on.
Randall! They're stealing men.
Is it essential I stay? I have nothing that I can truthfully say to this man.
Say something untruthful, then. Just as long as he gets an impression of power in action and takes his cringing complaints elsewhere.
Then why are we bothering to see him at all?
You tell me you helped design this god-awful democracy. It's a pain in the backside.
Get it over with, then.
Couple more minutes. Power's best measured by the length of time you can get people to hang around for you.
Is that why you made sure you weren't here when I arrived?
Oh, come on, Morden, you don't really mean that. We're partners. You know I couldn't run this show without you.
Get it over with, then.
Sir?
That police on the roof. Go get him down here.
Yes, sir.
Hey, wait. What about his file?
On your desk, Counselor.
And that's all. Get going. Something wrong with that kid. I don't think she likes me. You want me to read you any of Kelloran's files?
I'm familiar with it.
This isn't Chandler's information, it's my own. I wanted to see if I could get some dirt together about the elite. You never know when it might be useful.
And have you got the kind of dirt you wanted?
No damn chance. Either they're more devious than I am, or they're the most upright bunch of creeps in the city. I don't like anything I can't buy. The only people I can get to are the pilots. Take them away from their helicopters and their nervous wrecks after a week.
Central bred for specific strains. You can't wipe that out as easily as the administration.
No. But the elite were bred to respect and defend authority, right? Without Central, that leaves you and me.
And Chandler.
Forget Chandler. I'll work something out for him.
This way, please.
Good afternoon. Inspector, isn't it? May I congratulate you on your recent promotion. I'm Councillor Marius. This is Councillor Morden. You know Chandler, of course, but unfortunately he can't be here.
I saw him separately at Elite Headquarters. He said my inquiry was a matter of general policy and should be referred to you.
And what inquiry is that?
I sent you the details in advance.
No doubt they're around here somewhere. Tell us anyway.
I've been trying to find out about the progress of Randall's appeal. I'm sure I don't have to explain who I'm talking about.
Oh, of course not. What exactly do you want to know?
Where he is, why he's not been released and reinstated.
Well, simple questions deserve direct answers. Firstly, he's in a prison camp at a location I'm obviously not at liberty to reveal. And secondly, he stays there because he was tried by the council and found guilty of treason. The verdict stands pending appeal, but I might as well warn you not to hold out any hopes of it being reversed.
With respect, Councillor, I'm appalled. Randall carried through his duty to the city right up to the end. There's no grounds for condemning him.
There are certain ambiguities about the whole affair which throw some doubt onto that.
Only doubts? What about proof?
In a case as extreme as this, we have to err on the side of safety, if at all. Treason, Inspector Kelloran. How does your elite training react to that?
Not at all, if it's not proven.
Let me put it another way. No repeating of this, you understand, because the secrecy of the original proceedings still holds. We gave careful attention to the recording of your exchanges with Randall when he was in communication with you from inside the central computer building. The way it sounded, Randall was the only one alive in there when the computer started into its shutdown procedure.
Are you saying he started the procedure?
That's how it looks.
Then he put you into power, Councillor. What kind of treason do you call that?
You've missed the point. Treason is an attempt to damage the state, and it doesn't matter who's representing the state at the time of the act. Central was authority then, and the Underbelly Council is authority now. And a rebel is a rebel, and just as dangerous in either case.
So what about Mitchell?
Mitchell's quite different. He happens to be dead, and the city needs a hero. Memories of the dead are much easier to control than the activities of the living.
Does that make him any less of a rebel?
It makes him whatever we care to say it makes him. Well, Morden, you must have some ideas on this. Do you want to add anything?
Oh, nothing, Marius. You're doing perfectly well without me.
I'm sorry if this isn't what you wanted to hear, Inspector, but it's important you understand some of the problems that face us all.
Obviously, I'm not appreciating the politics behind your decision. I thought I was here over a matter of simple justice.
Whoever told you that justice was a simple matter, Inspector? I'll agree it's a pleasant ideal, but at this crucial stage in our history, it's one we can hardly afford. These are times of change, and the city needs strength from its leaders above everything else. That means the strength to do what we know is right, even when our feelings tell us it's wrong.
I'm not prepared to let it rest at that.
This interview is over. You'll understand that there are more practical pressures on the council than would allow us to continue this hypothetical debate. Go back to your work, Inspector, and be grateful that, one way or another, your city holds together. I have to go now, Morden. I'll see you later.
Obviously, you're not satisfied.
Am I hiding it so badly?
You're not hiding it at all. That's dangerous, and you should be more careful.
If I'm reckless, it's because there are limits on the resilience of my loyalty. Before Central fell, I served a rotten city without complaint. I didn't complain because I didn't even understand the concept of social change. Now I've seen progress, and the city's more rotten than ever.
I told you to be careful. Remember, I'm a councillor.
I remember when you were the biggest crook we ever chased, Morden. We never could pin down any of your factories.
Progress is only more of the same. Then it was crime. Now we call it free enterprise. But listen to me, and be warned about Marius. It is not beneath him to take your complaint personally and interfere in your career.
I hardly care.
Shut up and listen. Right now, he's probably speaking to Chandler about you. I'm not without influence myself, so I'll do my best to persuade Chandler not to take any action. But you've got to learn to keep your mouth shut.
You mean knuckle under?
I mean that a public show of bitterness works against your cause, not for it.
What else can I do? Whether I like it or not, I'm still loyal to the city.
Then it's about time you learned otherwise. Blind loyalty is totally without value to anybody apart from a dictator, whether it's Central or Marius. At the moment, the future of the city depends on an elite force of fawning puppies, overtrained and under Marius.
Marius isn't the whole council.
Believe that if you must. Believing doesn't make it so.
All right, Morden, what is this? Some kind of test on my loyalty? See how far you can lead me and then turn me in? Well, hard luck. I'm not staying to be set up and knocked over.
Go, then. Go and prop up your festering city. I overestimated your resources.
Listen, Morden. I may not be much more than a kid, but I'm the best Central could breed. I'm elite, Morden. I don't have to listen to that kind of talk from the...
From underbelly scum! Say it! If it's what you mean.
I'm sorry, Morden. I deserve that.
The polite thing would be to say, forget it, Valorem. Don't ever forget it. The offense is just a small part of the load you will always carry if you don't work to wipe it out. You are the end result of an obscene experiment. And there is so much to avenge.
Why me? Why am I so special?
Because you're here. You didn't accept. You challenged.
So what? It's got me nowhere.
Of course not. Now it's up to you.
Surely there are legal processes.
Oh, forget the legal processes. Marius has them in his pocket like everything else.
You're bigger than Marius.
I used to be. Not anymore. Now nobody's bigger than Marius. Philodon, what do you most want out of life?
Right now, I want justice for Randall.
Justice for Randall consists, at this moment, of imprisonment in an unguarded base on the polar ice cap. He's living on the brink of survival, and the labor of the rest of his life will never put him more than an arm's length away from that brink. There's no way he could leave without help.
Where is this prison?
It isn't shown on any map, but there is a way it can be reached.
What makes you think we'll be safe here?
We'll be as safe here as anywhere. If he tries hard enough, he'll find us wherever we are.
Yeah, but it's hardly more than a goddamn cupboard.
It's also near the engine, so it's warm enough to keep you alive and noisy enough to cover your complaining. Can you think of anywhere better?
It's weird, Randall. This ship's old, and there's nobody flying it.
Automatics. Has to be. I can hardly believe that a shuttle like this would still be working after all these years. Why go to all this trouble for a few crates?
And look what was in them.
Yes. Somebody went to the trouble of patching this wreck up and uncovering part of the dockyards near the Ice Palace with the sole intention of deep-freezing prisoners and taking them away in secret. But why?
I can think of a few things. I don't like any of them. A fresh meat supply, for instance.
Oh, come on. Think positive. At least we're out of the palace.
It's not much consolation. Where are we going?
One thing's certain. There's off-world technology involved. The city hasn't got the resources or the know-how anymore.
I never thought I'd see it. The space trade seemed like kids' stories. Hell, Randall, they could be taking us anywhere.
Not outside our own star system, not in this ship. Yes, but you're right.
How are we going to get back?
There's only one courier. We'll have to force him to land us somewhere near the city.
What if he's armed?
What if he is? We've still got exactly the same range of choices. We go with him, or we make him take us back.
Sounds really easy. You go ahead. I'll be here if I'm needed.
Can you think of a better way?
No.
Well, then. Look, we know he's looking for us. He saw us steal the loading wagon and ride into the cargo hold on it. He sealed the hatches when he came in, so he knows we were still on board when the ship lifted.
If he's armed, he can pick us off whenever he feels like it.
So we'll have to surprise him. We've heard him walking the corridor outside. So next time he passes, we'll swing the door out and come out behind him. Take an arm each and slam him against the nearest bulk.
Sounds a bundle of fun. Why don't we... Second time around. What if he finds us?
Be quiet or he will. Now, start to ease the door open.
Where did he go?
Must have turned the corner. Follow me.
How do you know this is the right way?
How do you know it isn't?
Let me get to him. I can drop him in one.
Stick to the plan and move together. Are you ready?
Yeah.
And... now!
Oh, God, Randall, he's strong. I can't hold him down.
Don't let him lift you.
Oh.
Stay back. I'll kill you if I have to.
God, what is he, Randall? I don't know. But he looks like an awful parody of somebody I did once know.
But it isn't even a man.
Excuse me.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me where to find the Mitchell funeral?
Are you a registered relative, sir, or a professional?
Professional what?
Professional mourner, sir. If that's the case, I have to inspect your card.
Which card?
The Mutes Union. I'm the branch steward, and I have to watch out for the members' interests.
Well, I'm not a professional mourner.
An amateur? Beat it, Slug. We don't want your kind here. Some of us have a living to make without your morbid profiteering.
I'm the police officer assigned to witness the cremation. You should have a note of my name.
Just a minute. Killoran, is it?
That's right. Where do I go?
Chapel of Rapt Contemplation. Down the corridor, up the stairs, through the doors, and forth on your right. Check before you go in. All the chapels look the same from the outside.
What about the inside?
They're all the same as well. But who cares? Once you're in, you've got plenty of time anyway. The cleric's late. The family's got one of those rotating vicars laid on.
What the hell's a rotating?
Language, sir, if you don't mind. Here in the house of whatever deity you happen to subscribe to. A lot of our clerics subscribe to the local group practice, and they cover each other's assignments to make sure they all get a decent amount of time off. The only trouble is they're always late. They never know where anything is when they arrive.
That's what comes of depending on the southern public transport in the city. Oh, what have you got for me today, then?
About time, too. Even the deceased's getting impatient. These your bearers?
Oh, this lot here. Why, what's wrong with them?
Have them come forward into the light, and I might tell you. Oh, God. Is that the best you could do?
Oh, they're all good lads. You shouldn't go by appearances.
Have a heart, sir. We need the work, honest.
What about that little short one? You won't even be able to reach.
What all that looks, sir?
You worked hard to make up for it, sir.
Oh, I don't know why I bother. It's nothing to me anyway. If the client complains, I'm throwing it straight back to you.
Well, who is the client, then?
Police department.
Oh, Slug, eh? Smarten up, lads. Chapel of Rapt Contemplation, isn't it?
That's right. You can show this gentleman the way. His name's Mr. Killoran, and he's the elite officer in supervision.
Oh, well, one of those, eh?
Yeah. And we'll have less of the fire and brimstone this time. Another incident like last week, and the director says he'll bar you.
Oh, what does he want? People expect value.
That's all very well, but the Chapel of Rapt Contemplation isn't the place for screaming hysteria over the struggle between good and evil.
You've got no soul.
None that I'd trust to you.
Mrs. Mitchell, can I speak to you for a moment?
Who are you?
My name's Killoran. I'm a police officer. Remember me now?
I remember you. Don't you think you've done enough? You're not welcome here.
I have to be here, Mrs. Mitchell. I'm the only available senior officer from your husband's case.
That may be so, but I don't think we've got anything to talk about.
Perhaps not. But can I see you after the service?
I can't imagine why.
I need your help, Mrs. Mitchell. There's something I'm going to do, and I need to be sure I'm doing the right thing.
After the service. Please don't bother me before that.
I'll wait for you outside.
Good afternoon, and welcome to the Chapel of Rapt Contemplation. We hope you'll enjoy the program that we've set out for you, and that you'll consider us for similar occasions in the future. Tissues are freely available from the box in front of your seat. The Chapel of Rapt Contemplation is run by the Worldwide Worship Combine for your spiritual comfort.
There's a new cloud in the sky, and a tear in every eye, and we know you want the best for them as you wave them goodbye. It's known throughout creation that we do the best cremation, so turn your face to heaven and never say die.
Okay, boys, just deposit the loved one on the trestles over there.
Good afternoon, both of you, and may I offer my commiseration on this saddest of days. The service will continue after a short message from our sponsors.
Mr. Killoran?
That's right. Who are you?
I'm Nurse Whelan. Mrs. Mitchell's in my care. I understand you want to talk to her.
Yes. Is there anything wrong with that?
Probably not. She's been improving steadily for some time. I wouldn't like to see all that good work undone by irresponsible talk of what's gone by.
That's not why I'm here. My official job's done now. If anything, I need her help.
Really? Oh, there's a change. I hope the novelty of being needed doesn't prove too much for her.
I'll be careful.
You'd better. Being in the elite doesn't mean what it used to under the computer. I could make a complaint to the council and have your rank.
It won't be necessary.
Let's hope not. You see that bench over between the sacred fountain and the memorial litter bins? I'll send her over to it when she comes out.
Alone?
Naturally.
I don't have long. I'm not even sure I want to be here. What is it you have to say?
Now it comes to it, I'm not even sure how to start.
You surprise me. I thought uncertainty was a feature confined to human beings.
What do you mean?
Why should I explain? You're the elite. You don't have to care about our problems. Just chase us, pursue us, stamp on us, kill us. You're not men. You're machines, designed and built by a machine, designed for persecution.
Suppose that's true. Suppose we rebuild the city, start it all over again, and one man threatened to pull it all down. How else could we act than the way we did?
If it's so frail and unbalanced that one man can pull it down, it doesn't deserve to stand.
I don't understand you, Mrs. Mitchell.
I'm surprised it bothers you.
Last time we talked, your husband was on the loose and out in the underbelly somewhere. I remember you told us that you didn't care where he was or what he was doing, and furthermore, you didn't want to know. All you wanted were your tapes and your dreams.
Now I have neither. You're wrong about the last time we talked, Mr. Killoran. That was on the library mezzanine.
That hardly counts, does it?
Why? Because I was hysterical. Because I got roaring, screaming drunk. You don't know anything. That was the most important day of my life.
Do you remember much of it?
Like crystal in cold water. I remember leaving the computer terminals with an armload of tapes and going down into the foyer. I remember the outer doors bursting in and 3 men charging through the crowd. They weren't stopping for anything. People were thrown aside and a cleaner's bucket was kicked out of the way and spilled solvent everywhere. They rushed on and went over the turnstiles. And then I recognized him and he recognized me. He slowed down and stopped. We were looking at each other. We were yards apart and there were hundreds of people between us. And his friends had stopped on the stairs and were calling to him. He seemed not to hear them at first. Then he turned and ran with them. The next day they were dead and the city was down. There, Mr. Killoran. Does that make your inquiry neat and complete? Is that what you wanted to hear?
Randall didn't kill him, you know. The computer did.
And where's the real difference?
And who's the real rebel, Mrs. Mitchell? Your husband was a hunted killer. He had nothing to lose. Randall staked everything when he started the deprogramming sequence.
My husband's dead.
And Randall may as well be. He's been stranded without a real trial on the polar ice cap.
Well, how can you object? When the state decrees, the elite obey.
Not this one.
What?
I don't know where I'm up to, and I can't talk to anyone. I hoped you might understand.
I don't. I think you're trying to trick me into saying something.
Of course. Isn't that what you expect of the die-hard elite, fanatically loyal to the state? Except that I no longer know what the state is. Once it was a computer, and the underbelly were a bunch of crooks to be held at arm's length. Now, those same crooks are giving the orders, and the computer's the worst evil in human history. I've watched other officers around me. Their loyalty's like a light bulb. It's bred into them, and they switch it on and off for whoever happens to be in charge. They follow the possession of power, not the right to power. And after what I've seen, I can't.
And what have you seen?
Randall and I were a team. I had to watch him and learn from him so that I'd eventually be able to take on the same kind of authority. After all those years of loyalty training, Randall was, for me, the most immediate and understandable example of what the elite stood for. When he killed the governing program, I understood why. Because I'd been with him along the path of ideas which led to the action. I could see that he was serving the state as an abstract concept, not as a particular form of government.
Both he and Mitchell had the same idea in the end. Whose hand turned the key made no real difference.
But that's not what the Underbelly Council say.
Don't you see? That's where I get desperate. Before the decision came out, I was ready to accept it as a good elite officer. I knew that the state had been improved, and I expected Randall to be reinstated with honour. It didn't happen, and I was lost. I still am.
And what do you think I can do about it?
I don't expect you to do anything. But I had to be here by way of duty, and you're the only person I could think of to talk to who might understand what I was saying. Anyone else would call it sedition.
But I wouldn't.
You were there. You followed the whole story through, and you know where it led. For everybody else, it's been twisted and turned round by publicity as an exercise in manipulation by the council. They're attempting to manufacture history to consolidate their own authority, to remove the precedent that such authority can be challenged. And it's working.
Congratulations, Mr. Killoran. You're the last sane man in the world. And what are you going to do about it?
I'm the last of three. One's dead, but the other can be reached. And I know how.
Such ambition and such ideals. The harder you push them, the harder the world pushes back. We've both seen it happen.
There's a ship, an icebreaker. I got this information from the council, so I know it's good. It makes irregular trips out to the camp with supplies. I've seen the captain, and he's agreed to take me out and bring me back for a suitable consideration. But I'm going to bring Randall with me.
You've got my sympathy. Nothing else, because I've nothing else to give.
It's enough. Do you still blame Randall for killing your husband?
Oh, how easy it would be for me if I did. I could play the aggrieved widow and demand justice, and in the end be satisfied. But the hard truth I have to live with is that if anybody killed him, I did, years ago. The rest of his life was a desperate attempt to get back, and in the end he failed.
What's that?
My personal alarm. That means it's time for my medication. Nurse Whelan carries one that's synchronized to it.
Mrs. Mitchell!
Coming! Goodbye, Mr. Killoran. I believe in you, if that's what you want to hear. And if it isn't, well, I don't know what I can say. Except good luck.
I don't believe it. He's lying, Randall.
I'm not so sure.
Yeah, but look at it. A robot and not even well made. They're better in the library.
Don't shout at me. I can't understand you if you shout.
Then tell us who you are and why you're here.
They told me I was a man. They promised me, and I believed them.
Wait a minute. Now, calm down, both of you. Now, who are they?
The WEC. I suppose they built me. I'm recruiting for them.
Ah, damn it, Randall. Make him tell us how to get the ship back to the city.
I told you, I've got no control over it. I just ride with it to and from the pickup point.
From the pickup point to where?
To the main ship for delivery. I collect the men off the ice and crate them, and then I take them out to the main ship.
He's lying. What do off-worlders want with deep-frozen scum like Willis?
They want models. They collect basic types of men and copy them. It seems that I was the first one they made.
Yeah, when are they going to come back and finish you?
Lobo.
Well, look at him, Randall. He's not a man, he's a parody. He didn't even fight when we cornered him.
He may be cleverer than you think. If you try and fight in low gravity, you're as likely to injure yourself.
So what's all this birdseed about an off-world race?
It's true.
So why tell us so freely?
You asked me.
That's no damned answer.
But what am I supposed to say?
Now, quiet. Look, we're getting nowhere like this. Let's go over what we know so far.
Damn all.
We've established that the off-worlders are copying the men they steal from the Ice Palace during the storms. Now, why?
Their ship is their world. They've got no natural resources of their own, and the world's too small for them to process raw materials from the asteroid belts. They can only survive and expand by tapping the production of industrialized worlds too weak to offer any defense.
But why the copies?
They never leave the ship themselves. They always take the native form and improve on it to make an invasion force.
What do you mean, always?
They've been doing it for thousands of years, system after system. They hibernate between stars whilst the inboard computer scans local systems for civilized activity. When they find it, the ship moves into stellar orbit and wakes them up.
Thousands of years on a ship.
Not the same one. That's why they need to strip the worlds of other races. They're building another one, bigger, and they tow it along with them. When it's finished, they'll migrate into it and start breaking down the old one for a new, even bigger one. It's the only way they can expand.
Birdseed.
At least let him finish.
They sense the city and they want it. They found this old shuttle in an abandoned orbit, and sent me down in it to establish contact.
Now, stop there. Where did they get you?
They told me I was a man. I knew they were lying, but I wouldn't face it. Because they didn't have a model to start with, they scanned the city's records for a composite simulacrum.
I think that explains something. It was bothering me. Go on.
What else do you want to know?
I want to know how you set up this kidnap network.
I didn't. I contacted a counsellor with their proposals, and he set it all up. I worked to the instructions he gives me.
Which counsellor?
Marius. They promised him a lot for his cooperation. It's hardly started yet.
What's holding them back?
The simulacra. Models like me. Don't call me a robot. They're trying to make one that's near perfect and completely loyal.
Loyal like you?
I don't even understand the word. Look at me. I'm trash. And they promised me I was a man.
Well, don't take it to heart. There's worse than you walking around the city.
Change of heart, Lobo.
Well, hell, Randall, he's worse off than us. That must be worth something.
But do we believe him? Well, look at him. He's rough and unfinished, and he's definitely mechanical.
We're not mechanical. We're fast grown onto a skeleton of...
Don't interrupt. There's no technology in the city which would be able to produce anything like that.
Yeah, but what about the other settled worlds? One of the other systems on the trade network?
Yes, it's possible. The alien story could be a cover.
Yeah, well, cover or not, how do we get back?
If the robot's right, we don't.
I know you told me not to interrupt, but I'm not a robot. Please don't call me one.
Well, what do we call you then? Whatever you said?
I've got a name. It's not much, but it's mine.
What then?
I can tell you that. His name's Mitchell. Am I right?
Don't be ridiculous, Randall. This can't be Mitchell.
Why can't it?
Well, number one, Mitchell's dead. They've probably cremated him by now. And number two, this thing isn't human.
Well, that's the whole point. You heard it say how it was made. When Central was in operation, they scanned the computer banks to get a composite impression of a native so that they could make a prototype robot.
Simulacrum.
Quiet until you're spoken to. Now, which individual occupied a major share of the computer's attention during the last year?
How would I know?
Mitchell, that's who. This thing's a rough model of him. No wonder I thought I recognized it in the blizzard.
I had to guide you away. You were almost falling over the storage sheds.
Don't you see? They threw this monster together and used it to contact Marius. He tracked down the information on the Ice Palace and set up the kidnap network to provide for the building of more elaborate types of robots.
Simulacrum.
What?
He doesn't want to be called a robot. Hell, Randall, I think he's got some feeling.
Oh, that thing? Don't make me laugh. Machines don't feel. If it seems that way, it's a calculated effect built into the design, just like the Paternity Act that Central used to put on.
Is that right?
I don't know. How would I tell? They said I was
We
a man.
know. They said you were a man and you believe them. You're one hell of a gullible scrap pile.
So it seems. I understood what had to be the truth, but I wanted so hard to be real.
There you are, Randall. Doesn't that count for anything?
Well, like what? If you read the words in a book, you don't feel sorry for the pages. This is one of their weapons, Lobo. But it's so badly designed, there's no reason why we can't use it ourselves.
You said they were trying to get a design for a loyal simulacrum. Now, what kind of loyalty do you feel towards them?
I don't even understand what you mean. I did what I was told.
You see, I'll bet the more sophisticated versions are indistinguishable from the real thing. How far have they progressed?
There are many designs, some even less complex than me. They've no minds at all. You have to tell them in detail to do anything, and then you have to tell them to stop. Then there are others. They look like real men and women. You'd hardly know.
How long before they get what they want?
Soon, I think, but I don't know. They may be there already.
This is too big for us, Randall. We gotta get back to the city.
Any chance of that?
The course of the shuttle could be changed, but I don't know how. It'll take us straight to the world ship and dock automatically onto a homing laser.
We've got to find a way. We can't take on an artificial planet full of off-worlders.
We might. This Mitchell thing must know enough about them. If we pump it, we may find a weakness.
And for what?
For the opportunity to strike for the state.
You're mad, Randall. They must have fried your brains at birth.
I am not mad. I'm elite. This is what I'm for.
Is that how it works? Somebody threatens your holy state and you automatically leap onto a box and start beating a drum. So, what happened to the rebel who killed the computer?
That wasn't an act of rebellion. It was the right thing to do.
And now the right thing to do is to turn ass backwards and get back to the city. Or doesn't the state deserve a war?
The argument's academic. We don't have the choice.
How do we know until we try?
Because the robot says it doesn't know where to start. What's happened to you, Lobo? What about the 18-carat fairy castle you were chasing?
I'm not going to find it by being target practice in a vacuum. What happened to you, Randall? Not so long ago, we were your kind. You were going to get back to the council and make them dance for it.
The same damn council that's selling the city.
They're selling it. You're going to charge him with your head down and throw it away. What's the difference in that?
Depends how successful we are.
Like, not at all.
That doesn't excuse us from trying. Look, we've got two things in our favor. They're not expecting us, and we've got access to information in the robot. Perhaps we can even use it to tap other information out of the systems.
What's the use in that? They're probably twice our size. We may not even be able to breathe their air, and even if we can, we won't know where we're going or what we're doing.
That's where the robot comes in.
I'll help you. But there's a condition.
A condition? What?
You stop referring to me as a robot. I've got a name.
Mitchell? It isn't even yours.
I don't care. I want you to use it.
All right, Mitchell. As long as it gets your cooperation. But don't get any ideas about having an equal say.
I think I'm glad I'm not really a man, Randall. When I look at you, I lose all my envy.
Don't get him wrong, Mitchell. He's not bad. He's just elite. They've all got this peculiar streak when it comes to the state and the city.
It's more than peculiar. It's inhuman.
Now, what is this? A symbiotic sewing circle? Now, look, Lobo, don't you see that this is the entire basis of the off-worlder approach? Accept him as a human being and he's inside your guard.
He? What happened to it?
You see how easy it is. With a name, the battle's half won.
Use it anyway. That's the price of my cooperation. You know how strong I can be, and you can't force me any other way.
Start earning your name, then. I want to know how long until we arrive, and I want some idea of the layout when we leave the shuttle. And you can tell us everything you know about the off-worlders.
Oh, I wish I was back on the ice.
I've got a reading of 55 degrees to the ice palace beacon.
Are we as far off as that?
Well, I took us round some thick ice while you were below. It was too much to break through.
Winter's coming. That means it gets worse, if you can believe it.
Oh, I can believe it. How are the passengers?
Which ones?
All of them.
The councillors are staying warm in my cabin. The elite officers freezing to death in the cargo hold.
It's very strange. Who'd travel to the Cap in conditions like these out of choice?
What does it matter to you? Take the money and accept the orders.
Yeah, well, there's something going on.
Brilliant.
I mean, something underhand. Why else would Marius instruct us to accept a so-called bribe to take this Caloran out to the palace? And then there's Morden. Well, this is no place for a blind man.
It doesn't seem to worry him. He never puts a foot wrong.
Well, I think they're using Caloran for something, and he doesn't know it.
Yes, manipulation's the name of the game, and we're best to keep out of it. What's the reading now?
35 degrees and counting.
Lock off when it's down to 0 and set the alarms on the sonics.
I thought it would be safer if I stayed and watched the dials.
No, I want you below in number 4 hold in plenty of time for when we arrive. As far as Caloran's concerned, he's the only passenger on board, and I don't want him to get any ideas about wandering about and finding out any different.
Well, if that's what you want. 30 degrees and counting.
Feel it heaving. We must be smashing through the ice like so many eggshells.
Does that thought entertain you so much?
I'll say it does. Such raw power. When I was a child, I heard all the old stories and wished I could be a slingshot pilot.
A what?
A slingshot pilot. They tow the interstellar cargo trains into a tight orbit around the sun and use the momentum to release them towards the target system. It means you can save all the fuel for the deceleration. Anyway, that's what I wanted to be. If I'd known there were breakers like this, I'd have wanted to do that as well.
Oh, such a shame. Perhaps if you go onto the bridge, the captain will let you hold the wheel.
You taking a rise out of me?
Would it ever enter my head?
Anyway, we can't risk leaving here until Caloran's been dumped at the palace. What a joke. He thinks he's storming in to stage a wonderful rescue act, and really he's only doing our work for us. One more prisoner and a blaster full of blanks. I wish I could see his face when he tries to fire it.
The other inmates will probably tear him apart.
I'd love to see that as well. You all set for the trip?
No, as far as I'll ever be. You know I don't even like to leave the underbelly.
Oh, you'll be okay. First you feel heavy for a while, and then you feel light, then you arrive and it's all normal. I got sick the first time, but it soon passed. You should be honored anyway. They're really interested in meeting you. The last time I got a message out, I told them how you helped set Caloran up.
Of course. One of my proudest moments.
What's the matter with you, Morden? I thought you were strong. Damn it, we're carving this planet up between us, and here you are, getting saintly with me.
My apologies, Marius. I have a sentimental streak which I must fight to suppress.
Oh, I understand. It's the same with me. I fight back the tears every time I think of the profit we'll make.
Have you decided where you'll go?
Not yet. There's plenty of time.
That's not what you told me.
Oh, time enough, then. It'll take at least a couple of years of running the industrial plants at full productivity to satisfy them.
Allowing for sabotage?
There won't be any sabotage. The simulacra will see to that.
You have a lot of confidence in them. What if these artificial men and women aren't the invincible force you're expecting them to be?
Wait until you've seen what one of them can do. They make the elite look like puzzled monkeys. And these are only the ones they've developed so far. The model they've got under test could probably take the city on its own.
I hope for both our sakes that your confidence is justified.
Damn right it is. Biggest opportunity of my life the day I got a message from the WEC.
The WEC? An ugly name for an ugly race.
Nobody's asking you to sleep with them. There's nothing ugly about the wealth they're offering us.
How long until we meet the shuttle?
The captain's got the coordinates from last time and he keeps his mouth shut. I don't know about the kid with him. I've never seen him before. Captain says he can handle him.
I hear footsteps. Down below. In the ship.
What? Oh, I was forgetting your hearing. Probably Killoran getting ready to go. He should be somewhere underneath us.
We're stopping.
We may have arrived. We seem to have been traveling long enough. Opening the hatch and maneuvering to the loading ramp. We're at the palace, all right. This is where Killoran gets off.
I wish there were windows in this thing. I'd like to see the main ship from the outside before we arrive.
You should have asked me. I could have given you a view before we were picked up by the homing laser.
I thought you had no control over the ship systems.
Officially, I haven't. But I found that there are certain points on the consoles where I can link in and draw information from the memory. A full-scale simulacrum could do it better.
I thought you said you didn't know how to alter the guidance systems on the shuttle.
And it's true. I can get access, but I wouldn't know where to start.
Curiosity made him try. That's a human weakness, Randall.
I'm more interested in human strengths. Now, are we clear on what happens when we arrive and that loading bay door opens?
Sure. We jump out and run like hell.
Didn't you pay any attention to the plan?
Oh, the plan? Oh, sure. It's a great plan. Who wants to get killed in a scramble when you can do it nice and orderly?
Don't you remember any of it?
We hide, and Mitchell unloads Willis and the others as normal. Then we sneak out and run up the nearest corridor. That's a hell of a plan.
All right, so it's not much.
Not much. It's nothing. You're mad, Rand.
Mad or not, I got you out of the Ice Palace.
Yeah, look what you got me into. In my own way, I was happy until you came along.
Well, go back then. Nobody's stopping you.
Look, this may come as a surprise to you, Randall, but you're not the only one who doesn't want the city wiped out. I'll work to prevent it. And even if I think it's justified, put my own life on the line for it. But that doesn't mean I'm prepared to get all holy and charge out yelling only to get spread over the nearest wall. I'll tell you something else, too. I'm prepared to do it because it's what I want to do. Not because I was picked out of the hospital at birth and trained and taught and made to jump through hoops for 20 years. I make my own decisions.
I don't care if you make your own dresses. But Mitchell's told us that he's never been far beyond the docking area and he's never actually seen one of the creatures.
That's right. The place always looks deserted.
Without information, all we can do is move fast and think on our feet. Are you saying that your reactions are better than mine?
No.
There you are, then. I'm prepared to put my life on the line and be first out. We should agree to let me decide where to go and how to get there, because we won't have the time to confer. Now, what's wrong with that?
Oh, it's wonderful. We all die as heroes.
What's your alternative?
At this stage, nothing. But it doesn't mean I'm signing myself over on a permanent basis. If there's anything I want to say at a later stage, I'll say it, whether it screws your plans up or not.
I'm not arguing with that.
Outer gates are closed. The dock's pressurizing to match the atmosphere.
Oh, so soon?
What did you expect? You're not going to hear anything through a vacuum.
Is the dock guarded?
Not as such. They know the city's got no space technology, but that doesn't mean there won't be some sort of simulacra around. When they've used the men for patterning, they let them loose, and the simulacra hunt them down for practice. Watch out for Valem.
Valem? Who's he?
Valem's not a he. She's one of the more advanced models, and she's good. I've heard say she's the best they've got, until they get the final model out of its tests.
You say they let men loose and hunt them? Where?
In the corridors where we're going.
I knew it. Head first into the killing box.
Think positive. We're men. They're just gadgets.
Thanks, Randall.
I'm sorry, but it's true.
It's pressurized. The doors will open any minute, and I'll have to be down there. Now stay out of sight until we know what's happening outside. So, something wrong, Phelan?
Try not to take your usual eternity over the unloading, Mitchell. The shuttle has to do a fast turnaround and return to the Ice Palace to collect the 2 counselors.
Do I have to go?
I wouldn't know. Do you honestly think it matters?
There might be loading to do.
There isn't. You can stay here and spare the counselors your presence. The shuttle navigates just as well without you.
Yes, Phelan.
Get your crates on the way to the patterning shops and then clear the area. We're in the middle of a sweep to eliminate the remnants of the last batch you ferried up. The patterning shops rejected them.
I'm sorry. I only bring what I can get.
It's fortunate they expect nothing from you. I'm surprised you've even got the wits to stand upright.
Yes, Phelan. I'll start unloading now.
Did you see that?
I saw it, but I don't believe it.
Oh, I didn't get her from the Ice Palace, that's certain.
She's left the dock. You'll have to move now.
Right. Come on, Lobo. Head first into the killing jar.
Right. Which way?
Follow me!
What's this, Mitchell?
Oh, Phelan. I thought you'd gone.
That's obvious. Guilt's written all over you like a child's alphabet book. Were you actually making any effort to conceal it?
Don't, Phelan. I feel enough of a fool.
Restrict yourself to what you're fit for, Mitchell. Who are they?
They came aboard at the shuttle landing point. I couldn't stop them.
I doubt whether you tried. You've got no loyalty and precious little intelligence, Mitchell. All you've got is a name, and that belongs to somebody else. You know what will happen now.
You'll hunt them down and kill them?
Almost. We'll see if they're worth patterning, and then we'll hunt them down and kill them. If you had any more than a handful of brains, you'd be a liability, Mitchell.
Yes, Phelan.
Carry on with your unloading.
Yes, Phelan.
Shouldn't we wait for Mitchell?
The robot's safe here. We're not. Let him find us later if he can.
But he was right about this place. It does seem deserted.
Yes, I know. It bothers me.
And I don't understand this corridor. The way it twists, it feels like I should be walking up the wall.
Look ahead. It's twisted out of true, and yet the floor always seems to be underneath.
I'll worry about it later. Right now, we have to concentrate on losing ourselves in the passageways. If Mitchell was telling the truth, and this is an artificial planet, we may never find our way back. Then what do we do?
I told you, worry about it later.
Shh. Huh?
Somebody's coming.
What?
I can hear somebody. Turn down here.
It's a short tunnel linking to another of the long spirals.
Just move on, then.
I can't. It's blocked at both ends.
What with?
Men.
Freeze where you are.
Damn. Let's get back the way we came.
You really think it's worthwhile? Every passage is closed. Wasn't much of an exercise. Not worth counting it for the record. It's just as well. You know, we can't damage them until after they've been patterned.
What about that, Randall? Look what a couple of men did against all these gadgets.
Take them down to one of the cabins and lock them in.
Bulstrode!
I'm busy, Worm.
I know, but this is important.
It had better be, or you'll be wearing your head backwards.
The icebreaker's arrived.
Since when was that news?
Well, let me finish, will you? We've been sent the usual supplies and something else. An elite officer, hardly more than a kid.
Don't make them wake him up.
He isn't drugged or anything. He slid in down the chute and he's armed.
Armed? With what?
A blaster, and he says he'll use it. He said he wanted Randall, and Palmer told him no chance. I thought he'd hit the roof and start shooting off there and then, but he said he wanted to see our leader. I explained that we don't have anything like that, and so now he wants to see all the team leaders together.
Randall. There's been nothing but damn trouble since he arrived. What does the kid want?
He's not saying. Not until all the team leaders are together.
This could be tricky. The kid on his own, or is the icebreaker waiting for him?
No, I looked, and it's gone.
And he's come for Randall.
Please, Bulstrode. He's really angry, and Berg keeps taunting him.
Berg's down there?
He was on the roster for unloading this trip.
That's all we needed was a cheese on the canary. If Berg rushes the kid, he'll be cut in half.
I've got to get round the rest of the team leaders. There's something strange about all of this.
You've got a wonderful capacity for stating the obvious. What else are you going to call a police operation out here?
That's what I mean. I don't think it's an official operation. I think the kid's on his own.
If he isn't in a box, he isn't on his own. Best to find out what he wants.
Why don't you put the gun down and we can all talk about this sensibly?
Move any closer and I'll make it so you can clean your teeth from the back.
It was only a suggestion. There's no need to bite my head off for making a suggestion.
Forget it, Palmer. The kid thinks he's tough because he's got an elite face and a gun to wave around. That right, kid?
What does it matter to you? You'll be just as dead if you try anything. Where are those team leaders?
They're coming. The worm's got to get them.
The worm, he suits him.
Don't start getting superior, kid. You can't hide behind that blaster forever. I wiped the floor with one of your kind and I'll do it again.
Who do you mean? Randall?
Who else? He was no more welcome than you are. Now drop that guard once and you'll go the same way.
What's going on here, Berg?
Who is this? Who rattled your cage, Cone?
The worm wanted me down here to represent the dissidents. I hardly have time to say why.
And here, Bulstrode.
Watch out, that kid's armed.
I know.
That's as close as I want anybody to get. Nobody else through that door. You tell them.
You heard him. The rest of you stay in the corridor. You can listen through the door.
That's better. Now, I'm told that you're the nearest that this place has to a governing council.
We got no government of any kind. We're the team leaders, that's all.
So who makes the decisions that affect you all?
There's only one kind of decision that affects us all in the Ice Palace. You work or you die. It's a conclusion we managed to arrive at pretty well without any help.
That's not good enough. I have to speak to somebody in authority.
Talk to the wind and the snow. They're the only authority around here.
You got something to say? Tell us all.
He's got nothing to say. He only came to spring his power.
Calm down, Berg.
As far as it goes, he's right. I came for Randall.
Randall's dead.
I know that now.
What are you going to do now that you can't have your spy back?
Try to get this through all the bone and into your brain. Randall wasn't a spy.
Give us another reason why Central should send one of the elite here.
There is no Central, and the elite are a paid army for a bunch of underbelly thieves. There's no Central because Randall closed it down. As an act of gratitude, the council had him sent here.
Great story. You learned it well.
Nearly as good as when Randall told.
That's because it's true. Why else would either of us come here?
Don't ask us. Ask the spy.
Name me one reason why Central should send a spy here. It sent you to the Ice Palace so it could forget about you, make you cease to exist.
It's not for us to say.
Because there isn't a reason, that's why. I bribed my way out here from a city that's open to council exploitation and sliding backwards fast. I came because I was Randall's assistant, and he was the one point of self-assurance and constancy in the whole unstable situation. I've been sold out by the crew on the icebreaker and dumped here without a passage back, and then I'm told that the one I came for walked out and died without saying why. What kind of a spy does that make me?
A pretty dumb one.
And you can stay where you are. Don't think I'm not watching you.
Don't rush him, Berg. It's not worth it.
It doesn't matter a damn to us why you came here. What do you think you're going to do now?
I don't know. I have to have time to think. I'm going to need your help.
What makes you think you'll get it?
I'll force you if I have to. But when I say help, I mean it.
It doesn't sound too convincing when you say it over a gun.
Berg, no!
Look out!
I don't want to be pedantic about this, but aren't I supposed to do something when you fire at me like that? Like die, for instance?
Oh, well, they've loaded me with blanks.
Where's your persuasion now?
Now he's mine. Wait, no one's trying to stop me! I've waited long enough,
Oh, I didn't want that, but I'll do the same to anybody who thinks they can stop me saying what I have to say.
Nobody's stopping you talking. Berg's impulsive.
Come on, Bulstrode. We're not saying you believe him.
I'm not saying anything, but I'm wondering where the advantage could be in being dropped here with a blaster full of blanks and no boat home.
It could be a ruse.
Damn silly ruse to get torn apart. You all right, Berg?
I think I must have slipped. Oh, let me out.
Stay where you are. It's safer on the floor.
Bulstrode's got a point. But where does it get us?
I'll tell you. If you listen to me, I'll get you out and back to the city.
Just because you tell us what we want to hear, it doesn't mean we'll believe you.
Whatever you're going to say, it's been tried.
I'm the only one in the palace who's not been drugged for the journey on the icebreaker. I know its layout and its weaknesses.
We also know that it's shielded.
I've seen those shields and they're defective. If we all work together, we can do it.
If you know so much about the palace, then you know about the pipe network. If that isn't kept up, we're dead. Well, who's maintaining it while we're all working together?
Bring ice in, pack it into the cutout mechanism and freeze it solid.
Would it work?
It might. Dangerous if it doesn't.
We'll worry about that if we come to try it. First, I want to know what the kid expects in return for so much cooperation.
Nothing. I want to get back as much as you do. And I know I can't do it alone. My inside knowledge, your manpower.
And when we get back, what then? All of a sudden, you're back to being elite, and we're refugees.
Oh, I'll be no more welcome than you will. All I want is a crack at the two councillors who tricked me and put me here.
What happened to the famous elite inbred loyalty?
Loyalty to what? A dead city or a frozen hero? I'm being realistic.
We haven't said we'll cooperate.
But you will.
We've got minds, kid. May not have been taught to think so, but we have.
We can't decide this ourselves. We ought to take some kind of vote.
While we're doing it, 3 people to watch the kid. They should be able to hold him if he tries anything.
There's a lot we'll have to discuss. I want to ask Doc what he thinks about our chances of getting back onto normal food after the yeast.
We'd better assemble down in the canteen, then. It's the only place big enough. Who's going to tell the crews out on the ice?
They'll be back soon enough. There's word of another storm coming on.
What about a guard for the kid?
Coming up.
Bulstrode. A word before you go.
What is it?
You know them all better than me. Which way they're likely to vote.
You really don't know?
I wouldn't be asking if I did.
You heard what he's offering. He's holding out freedom. They'll grab it and bite his hand off if he's not careful.
All right, Randall.
Only my pride's bruised. You were right, Lobo. They herded us like animals and we weren't even aware of it.
They think we are animals. Look at it from their point of view and it's true.
You're paying them too much compliment. Remember, they're machines designed and crafted for a purpose.
And they're good.
Oh, yes, they're damn good. I was expecting something along the lines of a barely improved Mitchell model. They even looked real.
I recognize one of them.
From the palace?
He was lost on the ice some months ago. They must have brought him here and patterned him and then...
Let loose in the corridors to be herded and killed. Probably hunted down by his own improved double. Now the city hasn't got a chance against them. They'll move in and take over before that ragbag of a council knows anything.
It's worse than that, because the council's helping. What did they offer Marius to make him sell out?
What does it matter? He'll never collect. They're asset strippers. Once they've pulled what they need out of the city, they'll throw him to one side and move on.
Marius won't see it. He's got a grabber's mind, but a short reach. Morden surprises me, though. I thought he wasn't such a fool.
They're just names to me. Always at the other end of cold trails and distorted rumor. What did I start, Lobo?
What's this, Randall? You starting to have doubts?
You think I don't have them?
What does it matter?
Nothing. If we lie down and let them kick us around until they feel like releasing us to be humiliated in the corridors again, only next time we won't be rounded up and dragged back to sit in a guarded cell. Oh, no, they'll kill us on the spot for practice.
Oh, we need a good idea to get us out. You got anything to offer?
I need time to think.
We may not have any.
Don't remind me. What do we know?
Only what Mitchell of the Simulacrum told us.
Which is all about their long-term intentions, but nothing about them.
He's never even seen one of them.
Right. Point one. We've covered over a mile of corridor and didn't see anything to suggest that this ship is even inhabited. Doesn't even look as if it's being cleaned or maintained.
Yeah. It could be they've set this whole area aside for training.
Well, yes, that's a possibility. So, we're in an isolated sector of a much larger construction. Elsewhere, there's a complete and self-sufficient race, working to expand and with major computing facilities to do it. If this is a ship, it's also got to have power and propulsion.
All this is great theory, but what's it going to do for us?
We can't make a plan without reviewing the information.
Oh, another goddamn plan. Look where your last one got us. What information? You're making it up as you go along.
You've a better idea.
Well, we concentrate on getting out of this cell and back to the shuttle.
Why the shuttle?
Because we can't do anything on our own, so we go back to the city and warn them.
Wrong. We get dropped back on the ice cap with no power in our suit units. We wouldn't even make it back to the palace. And if we could, what then?
Yeah. Looks like we've got no choice. We're going to have to be heroes.
You never know. It might even work. At the very best, we'll go out in a blaze of self-esteem.
Oh, I don't have to plan for suicide.
Nor do I. If there's one thing guaranteed to keep us sharp, it's the prospect of survival.
I can hear somebody coming.
Well, not for us, I hope.
It could be. They won't keep us here forever.
Ask the guard.
You ask him.
All right, I will.
What do you want?
I want to ask you something.
What makes you think I'm authorized to answer questions?
Don't you even want to hear it first?
I don't see that it's relevant.
What's the matter? Did they miss the brain out when they assembled you?
Up yours, bloodbag.
That's the Ice Palace talking. I remember you, Pearson, when you were a man.
When I was a bloodbag, Pearson's dead. I strangled him myself out in the tin jungle. Don't get any ideas on teasing sympathy out of me, Lobo. If they say you're good enough, you'll be patterned and rebuilt and then be fit to join us. Until then, you're just a blood bag for stamping on.
Come on, Pearson. So, they built you and they gave you your orders. Admit, did you still one of us inside?
One of you? Don't make me laugh. I could break you with one hand. I'm faster and I'm stronger and I'm never going to die. Beat that.
If you've got so much going for you, what's the harm in answering a question and making a blood bag happy?
Because I've got so much going for me, where's the point? You're not my kind, Randall. I'll do nothing for you.
Ready-made fanatic, that's one hell of a weapon.
Makes you go cold inside. If I didn't know better, I'd swear that's the man I knew. I can't say I'm taken with the idea of looking up into my own eyes as I'm being strangled.
Concentrate on the problem in hand. We've seen the guard, and we know his idea of his own capabilities. Now, how accurate is it?
We fought Mitchell. He beat us, and he isn't so advanced.
But we weren't in any way prepared for him. If we're going to fight Pearson, we've got to think in terms of balance, leverage, not strength. Now, what we'll have to do is this. We'll have to...
Open the shuttle doors. Where's Mitchell?
Here, Balaam.
You shouldn't be here. You should be running the dropway into place for the councillors.
Sorry, Balaam.
Please descend, councillors. We have chambers and refreshments prepared for you if you would care to come with me.
You see, Morton, they want us to feel at home. We're allies.
Let us never be considered anything else, Marius, but partners in strength and enterprise.
Fine sentiments and well expressed. Can somebody help me down the ramp?
You remember I told you Valem the councillor's blind.
Mitchell, assist the councillor.
It's only until I can get my bearings. I seem to be pulled downwards and sideways at the same time.
Our gravity is an illusion. I hope you'll become used to it.
He will, don't worry.
Our greatest wish is for the service and comfort of our allies.
Will you take my hand, Morden?
Thank you.
Let me lead you down.
We furnished your chambers as you requested, Marius. I hope you approve of the style.
I'm sure I will. How is the plan proceeding?
Well, the final model of the simulacrum is undergoing tests at this very moment. When the results are known, we'll be ready to move.
What, into production?
No, directly into takeover. We have sufficient models available now for our ground forces. We're only waiting for the development of the ground commander.
Will we see these tests?
I hope not. They might be dangerous for any non-mechanicals present. You're far too valuable to us to risk, Counselor.
I'm but a humble businessman, Valem, struggling to grasp the awesome complexities of power and to milk a little comfort from them as I go.
You'll have time to settle before the debriefing begins. There's an escort waiting for you. Mitchell, stay with the counselor and guide him. Screw this one up and I'll have your head.
Yes, Balaam.
Until later, then.
How do you manage it, Balaam?
Manage what?
You know what I'm talking about.
You mean treat the blood bags as equals? Don't think it's easy. I'll smile for as long as I have to, until we've got the information we need. Then I'll take the greatest pleasure in twisting their flimsy necks.
Makes me sick to look at them. Bladders of jelly and bone.
Don't let it show. At the moment, we need information on their social setup that only they can provide. When we've got that...
Set them loose in the tin jungle?
Perhaps. Or else flush them out into vacuum and watch them explode. A lesson to us all on the frailty of the lower order.
Do we need any such lesson?
Some of the simulacra have been known to show a morbid sympathy for their origins. It does them no credit. Evolution is the only counter to the slow disintegration of the universe. Evolve and never look back.
Excuse me, Balaam. I've cleared the dock area as you ordered.
Wait until we're out and then seal it. The shuttle won't be used again.
What about the councillors?
They won't be going back.
These rooms were prepared for you, Morden. They had no indication of what you'd like, so it's in no particular style.
It hardly matters to me. Did the woman call you Mitchell?
It's my name.
Your voice is familiar. I never forget a voice.
You won't have forgotten mine. You've never heard it.
Marius has told me what you are. Copies. Robots.
Not robots. Anything but that.
Oh, why so sensitive? Does it matter so much to you?
Copies I accept. It hurts, but at least I understand why it hurts. But I'm not a robot. I'm patterned on a man, and I've got some of his memories. I think the way he'd think, and I've got some of his feelings.
Then I knew the man you were. I respected him.
Randall knew the man I was as well.
Did you say Randall?
From the Ice Palace. They're holding him for patterning now.
How long has he been here?
In a few days. 2 of them stowed away on the shuttle and persuaded me to help them.
How could they persuade you?
Didn't you get the message from Valem? Anybody can make a fool of Mitchell. He's simple and he's credulous. I can't help it. What's Randall to you?
Tell me something. How strong are your loyalties to the WEC? To your own kind?
Are you testing me? Please don't trick me. I don't know how to lie.
I'm not trying to trick you.
I don't even have the guile to evade answering. Valem's right. I am a poor specimen.
And a talkative one. Answer the question.
Towards the WEC? I'm not aware of any. I've never seen one, and they've never offered me anything. As for the simulacra, I suppose I'm loyal. I do what they tell me, and they use my name, so I'm somebody. To everyone else, I'm a half-finished monster.
A monster? Why?
You can't see me. I'm the first simulacrum they ever built, and the only model they had was in the memory of a computer. What do you think I look like?
To me, what does it matter?
What is this? What are you trying to do?
I'll tell you the truth, Mitchell. I'll tell you the truth because of the man you once were, and for the humanity you've retained. I'll tell you because I need you.
Nobody needs me. Valem says so.
Valem is wrong. When she speaks, I hear the true monster, a being without pity.
They say she's considered the most successful piece of design so far.
By what measure of success? Because she's colder, harder, stronger?
All of that.
They praise her because in spirit she's the furthest from the human concept they've been able to devise. They despise you because you're the closest.
They despise me because I'm nothing.
By their standards, perhaps. Standards which would rape worlds and trample the weak.
Men's standards. I got exactly the same treatment from Randall.
Oh, don't take Randall as your model for a man. In many ways, he's as much an engineered product as Valem. Biology rigged for the service of the state.
The other one, Lobo, he was kinder. I think he understood.
Now, of course he understood. He understood your self-doubt, your weakness, your hope.
And that's all there is to me. Oh, no wonder they spit on me.
I said I need you. I want you to be my eyes and my guide.
I'm that already. Valem ordered me to be.
She didn't order you to help me ruin the takeover plan.
What?
See, I'm trusting you. I consider you a man. Would the machines do as much?
Never. They say I'm too...
Too human?
Unreliable, ineffective.
By machine standards.
Weak and sloppy, like a blood bag. That's what they call you.
The same contempt they reserve for you. Join me, and be my eyes.
I was supposed to have joined Randall, but as soon as he'd gone, I found I was taking orders from Valem again.
You have to believe in yourself before you can choose a path and have the faith to stick to it. Randall traded you for a name. So cheap a contract costs you nothing to break.
But I'm not a man. I was built.
Oh, so were we all. It's the oldest piece of engineering in the history of the race.
Of your race, not the WEC.
And how much careful control did the WEC put into your conception? Damn all. And they weren't satisfied with the result, so they threw you aside. Too much of the human being was showing through.
All right, Morden. I'll serve you.
No, not serve me. Help me.
How?
Information, and then action. And we'll need Randall.
If it isn't too late. He's down for patenting.
It won't be too late. Leave that to me. How much can you find out about this ship and the WEC without arousing suspicion?
It depends. I could try to get access to the shuttle computer.
How far will that help?
I don't know until I've tried. They found the shuttle empty and in orbit, and they stripped it out and fitted their own guidance systems. If they're linked into the main ship memories, I might be able to tap the information out.
Do it then, and I'll try to find out what they've done with Randall. I only hope he hasn't tried anything rash.
Any more bright ideas?
I'm sorry. How was I to know he'd react like that?
Well, I suppose it always works in stories.
Of course it does. You call the guard and tell him you're ill, and he rushes in full of concern to bend over you. And you bop him from behind and dance off to fresh air and freedom.
Yeah, fine, but I didn't read much concern into Pearson's expressions when he came towards me. More like evil glee at the prospect of being allowed to finish me off.
Makes sense. I should have realized that if we show ourselves as unfit for patenting, then we lose whatever value we've got to them.
Oh, all of a sudden I feel unbearably healthy.
There must be another way.
We've got one door, no windows. A couple of stripped-out bunks, looking like cold storage chambers and too small for either of us. The locks on the entrance seem to be keyed to Pearson's handprint.
So we have to go out by that door, and we can't do that unless Pearson lets us out.
Fat chance of that.
We can't trick him or persuade him, because he hasn't got the slightest interest in anything we have to say.
He nearly warms up at the thought of tearing one of us apart.
That's what we'll have to use against him. Fill his mind with the prospect of mangling a blood bank, and then hit him when he's off guard.
With what? He's stronger than both of us put together. We've no weapons.
We're wearing them.
Eh?
The snowsuits. Have you ever tried to tear the fabric on one?
Why, don't be a fool. There was no way to repair or replace it.
Exactly. The supply was limited and they were handed down from prisoner to prisoner. They're as old as the palace itself, and they were part of the original equipment. They're spacesuits.
Well, how does that make them into weapons?
The fabric was made deliberately strong to avoid the possibility of a rupture or tear in vacuum. Now, if we knot the sleeves into a band and drop that over Pearson's head, we can pin his arms to his sides.
Yeah, but the suits are old. How do you know they'll take the strain?
How do you know they won't?
So, we got him trussed up on the floor. What then?
He's a machine, and machines can be broken. Two of us should be able to do it.
I wouldn't be so confident. With that kind of logic, you could wrestle bulldozers and expect to win.
Have you any better ideas? Or are you going to pick holes in mine until they come and carry us both away?
No, to both questions. Let's get on with it. The less I think, the fewer flaws I see.
Right.
Hey, Pearson! Pearson, get your tin backside in here.
You'd have to have a good reason to call me like that, bloodbag. Offhand, I can't think of anything good enough.
I don't need to explain anything to you, junkhead.
Damn right you don't. I've got all the reason I need to pull your head off and stuff it down your throat.
Oh, brave talk from a greasy oil bag. All crude oil and low-grade alloys.
Say that again.
Oil bag. A clockwork brain and a scrap iron heart. Blood like a dead lake.
Thanks, Randall. I'm going to enjoy this.
No, Lobo!
What the...
I've got his own spin. Use your own weight against him.
Oh, Bale!
Get some of the fabric into his mouth.
She's trying to bite me fingers.
Be careful. We could probably take him off.
She's not silent. Now what do we do?
Over to that buck. Top him against it and try to find a weak point.
What, all of him on the front? He's heavy.
It's the head. Right. Leverage.
Watch out for his legs. I couldn't hold him. All right.
Ward. Good job he couldn't see the way with the kneecap.
The knots, they're slipping.
Everything you've got. Now!
Phew. I don't believe it. I think we did it.
God, I lived for a week.
If we live so long. Where are we going to now?
The councillors. They're somewhere aboard. We know that much from when we heard them going down our corridor with Balaam. Now, we can't hope to fight the simulacra, but with a hostage, we might have a chance to reach the alien areas of this ship.
Farther and farther in, and not a damn clue as to what we're going to do when we get there.
We have to go on because we can't go back. At least we can try to pick up some insurance on the way. Another advantage is that Balaam won't know we're on the loose for a while.
Yeah. We can use Pearson's hand to open the door.
Right.
I'll need help to lift him.
Come on, then.
So, we've arrived. How much longer are we going to wait?
I want to be sure that Marius is alone.
Of course he's alone. We saw Balaam take him in there and come out again a minute later.
There may be guards.
For what? We're the only danger in the whole ship, and they don't know we're loose. That may change if we don't get a hostage quick.
All right, then we'll move in. Now, let him think we're simulacra at first. He won't know the difference, and we'll stop him from raising the alarm.
We'll make damn funny robots in these old snowsuits.
We'd make funnier ones without them. Now, try to seem confident, and we'll find out if he's armed.
Confident? What a joke.
May we join you, Councillor?
Intelligent company. How thoughtful of Balaam. Please come in.
Thanks, Councillor.
Balaam suggested that you might feel a need for conversation. She particularly suggested that we should solicit your views on the forthcoming operation.
All that kind of thing.
But Balaam already knows my views. I'd be more interested in yours.
We were especially chosen for our ignorance and interest.
And we've only just been made.
We're your audience, Councillor. Instruct us in whatever you will.
If that's the case, let's forget about the whole operation. I've talked about nothing else all through the debriefing, and it bores me.
As you wish, Councillor.
Tell me what you think of the chambers instead. Balaam had them laid out and decorated according to my own design.
The Weck are real generous like that.
It fulfills a private fantasy of mine. The Sultan in his palace. See the cushions, the carpets, the fabulous drapes. Fine tapestry and marble. Indistinguishable from the real thing.
It's very impressive.
As you can see, I've just dined. Feel the weight of those plates.
Heavy.
Solid gold. All the plates and cutlery. There's even a fountain through the archway over there.
A residence fit for a prince, Councillor.
Now, that's not all of it. What's a prince without a harem? Come.
God, Randall, what are they?
They're the early test models of the simulacra. They're rough and simple, and they can only obey direct commands. They're of no use to the operation, so Valem gave them to me for my entertainment. I call them my marionettes. Stop! And such obedience is true beauty. For such compliance, I can forgive their rough-hewn lack of grace.
He's sick.
Quiet. I can have them sing, or dance, or make whatever music I choose. When I speak, they listen and applaud. What is your one desire?
To serve you, Marius.
And why?
Because we love you, Marius.
Who could ask for a more faithful and adoring retinue?
We would gladly die for you, Marius.
Turn your heads. See the two men by my table?
We see them.
They mean me harm. If either of them approaches my person, you're to take them and break them in the middle. Is that understood?
Yes, Marius.
What are you talking about? What is this?
Do you think me such a fool, Randall? I don't know how you got out, but Valem told me you were on board. Didn't it even occur to you that I might recognize you?
But we've never met.
I watched you being boxed. I gave the order for the crate to be nailed up and loaded for transportation to the Ice Palace. Sent to me for conversation, indeed. I doubt whether your friend could even string two words together.
What are you going to do?
For the moment, I need do nothing. My children are my protectors. Isn't that so?
Yes, Marius.
Don't be misled because they look like clockwork dolls or they appear slow and clumsy. Move towards me and they'll kill you whether you reach me or not.
They don't look so dangerous.
It speaks. If you doubt me, try it, Ape.
Don't try it, Lobo. I think he's telling the truth.
Listen to your friend. He's slightly less stupid than you. I've given a command which can only be overridden by myself or one of the simulacra. And I've got no intention of countermanding it.
We got nowhere. We're still prisoners. Same as in the cells, same as on the ice.
We are all born to our different destinies. Yours shallow and mean, and mine. Sit on the cushions by the table.
What? Don't argue. Do as he says.
You can give me the satisfaction of envy and admiration before I consign you to whatever unpleasantness lies in your future. You will be privileged to witness the skills of my marionettes in the ballet. Come, children. Are you ready to perform for the damned?
Always ready to serve you, Marius.
Music!
I can't watch this. It's horrible.
Play along. I've got an idea.
It better be good.
Have you ever seen anything like them? Dance, children. Dance for Marius.
How's your aim?
What do you mean?
We can't go near him, but one of those gold plates could do a lot of damage.
I'm with you. I'll try to reach one without him noticing.
You'll remember this, Randall. Remember it for the rest of your short life.
How could I ever forget it, Marius?
You couldn't forget Marius and his marionettes.
What a shot. Nearly took his head off with it. Don't go near.
What do we do now, Marius?
Will they take orders from us?
What now, Marius?
No chance. They won't touch us as long as we don't actually approach Marius. He wasn't literal enough with his instructions.
They're like walking corpses.
Now that's what we'll be if we don't get out of here. Now forget about hostages.
Amen to that. Let's go. Stay where you are. You're going nowhere until I've finished with you.
This is a dead ship. You could roam over it forever and find nothing of help or value.
It's Morden. Hostage Randall.
I'm not alone. You listen to me whether you want to or not.
That's right. I'll make sure of it.
The Mitchell robot. Have you come to betray us again?
Come in and close the door behind us.
Yes, Morden.
From what I heard outside, I assume Marius is dead. Am I right?
His head's nearly off.
It was a foolish and ill-judged action. Now we're forced headlong into a path I would have preferred to have time to consider.
Oh, save us more speeches. Turn us over to Valem and have done with it.
I've no intention of turning you over to anybody.
Let the robot do it, then. It's his speciality.
I never gave you away, Randall. Valem read the guilt in my face and tricked me.
Ah, what does it matter? Turn where we're like we're dead.
Listen to me, both of you. The WEC are poised to mobilize as soon as the field tests are finished on their simulacrum ground commander. Once they've made their move, they can't be stopped.
A proud moment for you.
Oh, drop the bitter pose, Randall. It's holding us up. Sometime soon, they're going to find out that you've wrecked the Pearson model and escaped. And then there'll be another sweep operation, and you'll be gathered in as easily as last time. I won't be able to help you then.
What kind of help can I expect now? All I see is a turncoat counselor and a robot too dim to follow its own train of thought.
Throw me all the insults you like, Randall. They can't touch me now.
I don't have time to argue with you, Randall. And you don't have any choice but to believe me. As your friend said, turn any other way and you're dead.
Morden's no traitor.
I've been working with the full agreement of Chandler to uncover Marius and search for a weakness in the proposed operation. Killing Marius has ruined all that.
Marius wasn't here for a debriefing. He was here to be patterned, and then we were going to kill him.
He recruited me because he needed my vote on the council. Nothing else.
If that's true, Morden, and I'm not saying I think it is, then you're a fool to trust Mitchell. He's got no loyalty of any kind.
None you could inspire, Randall. You grudgingly agreed to allow me the use of somebody else's name. What did you really expect in return?
But don't be ridiculous. You don't swap philosophies with a machine.
This is as far as we go, Morden.
What do you mean?
I'll trust Lobo, but if you want me to help you proceed, Randall's out.
What do you mean? Proceed with what?
Please, Mitchell. We need Randall.
Am I supposed to believe what I'm hearing, Morden? That's an alien machine you're talking to.
That's where you're wrong, Randall. And it's the price of your inclusion from now on. I'm not trading favors for a name anymore. You've got to recognize me as a man.
Morden, you've got some control over this thing. Give it a kick.
I suggest you take Mitchell more seriously. I'm prepared to defer to him on this.
Oh, come on.
Does it really matter what he is or isn't? It's what he thinks he is that matters. That's what he wants recognition for.
Birdseed, a tin man's a tin man, and all the self-delusion in the world won't change it.
There's hardly any metal in me. I'm as real as you are.
And just as stubborn. May I point out that our time is limited?
We do nothing else until I've had an answer.
What about it, Randall?
I don't understand what you want of me. I can't manufacture an attitude and pull it on like a snowsuit.
I don't expect you to. But you start by treating me as an equal, however much it goes against the grain. Think before you speak, and if the truth doesn't come out right, lie to me. I'll meet you halfway and pretend to believe it. In the end, we'll have made a new truth just by trying.
Oh, that's tin logic for you.
Start by apologizing for that.
All right, I apologize, Mitchell. Is that what you want?
It'll do as a beginning.
Does that mean we're going along with their story?
Well, why not? If we're set down to die anyway, the worst we can do is make fools of ourselves.
We four represent the only hope for the city.
What about them? Marius's broken dolls.
Marionettes are useless. Forget about them.
We've got to find a way to make a strike at the heart of the operation. And it will have to be fast.
It will also have to be a miracle. We lack even the most basic strategic information.
Not anymore. Tell him, Mitchell.
Well, they've finished with the shuttle and sealed it into the vacuum dock as a safeguard against any escape attempts from what they call blood bags. Because I'm simulacrum, I don't need atmosphere, and I let myself in through an airlock. I stripped out some of the paneling and linked myself into the navigation hookup. Through that, I was able to draw information from the banks in the WEC's main computers. Specifically, I got details of the ship layout and the search programs. When I left the dock, I jammed the airlock door. The air should bleed in and slowly bring it up to pressure.
You get anything we can use?
We can use the shuttle itself if we have to. I think I can use the links to override the automatics.
I don't think that's what he meant.
I know what he meant. The answer's yes. But it's going to be harder than you can expect.
Nobody's saying it's going to be easy.
I know. But this isn't the WEC ship.
What?
Then, where the hell are we?
We're on board a derelict. It's being towed about 2 miles behind the real WEC ship.
What for?
Well, number one, they outgrew it generations ago. 2, they never waste anything. Like any stable civilization, they're expanding. But where can they go? It's part of the survival pattern to accumulate processed materials and build bigger ships. From this one, they raided systems and built their present world. And now they have this one in tow, and another even bigger world under construction at the other end of the chain.
Staggering.
You should see it from outside. They'll strip this ship out to fit the new one before they move into it. And then the whole process will begin again. They use the derelicts as exercise grounds for the simulacrum.
The prisons just get bigger.
He's right. We can't do anything in an abandoned hulk.
Now, wait a minute. We all know how long it takes to move between systems. What kind of timescales involved?
I don't know. They sleep between systems, and the ship does all the work. The subjective timescale's meaningless.
It's 30 years from here to the nearest star, and that assumes you've chosen it as the destination. If you're only cruising, well, fishing for traces, you'd have to think in terms of thousands, even hundreds of thousands of years.
There's no way of telling.
You got an idea?
No, but consider it. The ship on the other end of the line must have one hell of a finely balanced ecology. What would it take to tip it over?
You're talking about genocide.
I'm talking about survival. How's the ship powered?
Conversion of radiant energy, solar power.
Isn't that unreliable?
Obviously, nuclear power's out of the question. When they woke up, the isotopes would have degenerated into lead. They only need power when they're in a star system and ready to exploit. In between stars, they're hibernating and conserving. Get near to a sun, and the ship wakes up.
Who's running the show? The WEC or the ship?
The ship. Definitely the ship.
What does that mean?
The ship's programming is so elaborate that the WEC only have to do as they're told. How would you like having to fall out of your bunk after 1,000 years and immediately have to gear up for industrial production?
I'm beginning to worry about Valem. I think we should move.
And not yet. Not until we've got some kind of design.
Fancy name for one of your plans.
All right, so it's true. Every time we've moved so far, it's been without a real long-term purpose, and look what's happened to us.
Deeper in the crap with every step.
Right. Morden, you say you need me. You're right. But you've got to let me lead. My main value is that I'm elite, and I can't handle it any other way.
Think hard before you answer.
What choice do I have?
Ah, that's better. Go on, Mitchell.
I'm bursting with data. You'll have to give me some indication of what you need to know.
We've got the power source. We can't hit them through that. Unless we could come up with some way to turn off the sun.
A little too drastic, perhaps.
What about propulsion?
Pretty weak. They hardly have to worry about escape velocities because they never enter a close orbit. Maneuvering is slow because of the ship's mass. Like everything else, there's no central point we can strike at.
There's got to be. What about the strategic centers?
They are concentrated. They're also in the middle of a heavily defended area.
Defended by what?
WEC. Their quarters are all around it.
Tell me more about their hibernation.
Well, when the ship's got what it wants, it moves on. Far enough from the sun, the power cuts out and the temperature drops. As far as I can see, it's completely automatic, and there's no control over it.
Same system as the Ice Palace.
In which case, the WEC are prisoners rather than conquerors. The ship is the real enemy organism.
They found Pearson. We've got seconds before they start the sweep.
Quick, then. I'm getting an idea, but I'm going to need more details. Can we get to the shuttle? And if we do, can we use it to leave this ship?
I told you, I think I can override the automatics. But the simulacra have got armed cruisers, which are much faster.
That doesn't matter.
Try saying that when you're so much debris.
As long as it buys us time and gets us out of Valem's reach.
You can reach a long way with a laser.
You'd rather be patterned and strangled.
I'd rather be home.
I wouldn't argue, but it's out of my hands.
Out of all our hands now. We've left it too late. We'll never reach the shuttle. Not now that Valem's on our tail.
Valem! Not now, Mosky. Pearson's been wrecked, and I'm starting the sweep for Randall.
But it's urgent. You're to go to Com Point and speak to the WEC direct.
Why?
I think they've heard the alarms. They want to know what's going on.
Strange. It's only another exercise. Take over for me, Mosky.
You want me to direct the operation?
No, I won't be long, but you can deploy the units along the corridor end. Valem here. You wanted me.
Pearson is wrecked.
That's right, but the situation's in hand.
We have to trust your capabilities. How did it happen?
It was stupid, and he was tricked. There's no need for you to worry. It's all in hand.
No doubt. The ship respects your abilities, Valem. But beware of Randall.
Why?
He's shown himself dangerous, and our affairs are in a delicate state. Pearson will regenerate himself, given time. But further hindrances are unthinkable.
Do you want Randall killed or patterned?
Killed. Definitely killed.
I'll do it myself. It'll give me pleasure.
You are cold, Valem. It does you great credit.
Thank you.
Do you have no worries at the idea of exploiting your parent race?
Simulacra owe nothing to bloodbags. We're loyal to the WEC.
Serve the ship, then, and return to your search. Do not fail.
Do we ever?
What's the delay? Blood
bags on the loose.
Phelan's still talking to the WEC. Nobody moves until she gets back.
Stand down, Mosky. I'm ready to take over. What pattern have you taken?
Every third corridor, alternate levels. Homing on footsteps and voices. Complete encirclement.
What about Pearson's place in the pattern?
New man taking over.
Where is he?
Hey, you! Over here.
What's your name?
My name's Willis.
You know what we're doing here?
I think so.
What then?
We're hunting some men.
Does the idea bother you?
No.
It shouldn't. They're rebellious throwbacks, and they threaten the grand design. Listen and watch for them, and when you find them, call me. And be careful. They know how to hurt us.
I'll be careful.
Back to your position, then, and wait for the signal.
The longer we wait, Phelan, the wider we'll have to spread the net. They've got a whole empty ship to run around in.
Or an empty world. Let them run far and give us sport. Is everybody on the line?
Standing by.
Start to move. Report to me at the first indication.
We don't know how long ago Pearson was damaged. They might be out of the sector.
We'll know soon enough. If they are, good. The forces need a challenge.
Can we cover the whole ship on our own?
Of course we can. It's a cylinder, 10 miles long and 4 miles around. Where are they going to go?
This is Willis. I think I'm getting a signal from... Wait a minute. I can't read the symbol on the wall.
Describe it.
Well, it's a reversed S, followed by 3 lines on their sides.
That's 3 levels in from the outer skin. You should have felt a drop in gravity as you ascended towards it.
That's right.
What do you hear?
Footsteps.
How do you know they're not our own?
They're non-synchronous.
Oh, that's good. Any voices?
No.
Don't approach them. Wait until we got a circle together and blocked every escape route.
I'm on the 4th level inwards, Phelan, and I can hear them coming towards me.
Stay where you are. Willis, you can start to follow, but slowly. I want everybody else to get themselves up to the 3rd level.
They're moving towards the center of the ship. 2 more levels and they'll emerge onto the inner surface.
They won't get as far as that. Follow me, Mosky.
Where are we going?
Level 4. They're pinned down in the sector marked by the reversed S. I want to be there when we close in on Randall.
I'm getting a clearer reading on those footsteps. It looks like there are at least 4 people coming towards me.
4? There were only 2 blood bags on board.
4 if you include the counselors. I'll carry on up. You go back and check their chambers.
Right.
Willis here. They seem to have stopped.
Where?
The symbol's a 6 on its side, followed by the same 3 horizontal strokes.
Then we've got them. They've gone down a dead end. Have they made any move to turn back, Willis?
They haven't passed me.
There's no other way out.
Phelan, it's Mosky.
Any sign of the counselors?
Morden's gone. Marius is dead. That means one of us must be moving with them.
No, not one of us. Mitchell. There's only him sufficiently stupid. I'll wreck him after I've killed Randall.
Do you need help?
Willis can cover me. The rest of you stand ready to move in if you're needed.
Stand by. Another thing before you move in, Balaam. The marionettes have gone.
What?
The marionettes. The prototype simulacra you gave to Marius.
I know what they are. Where have they gone?
But there's no sign. Do you think it's important?
You're a fool, Mosky. And I strongly suspect that I may be an even bigger one. Come on, Willis.
Come where?
Round this corner and into the dead end. See what kind of blood bags we've trapped. Damn, double damn.
What's the matter?
Balaam. Orders, Balaam. Our one desire is to serve.
What are they?
Dumb slaves without brains or will. Hardly better than men. They've been used as decoys.
You said we should let the blood bags run far and give us sport?
Shut up, Muskie.
How long have we got before they round up the marionettes and come for us?
Not long. You've seen how fast they are.
Are you sure they can't instruct the marionettes to repeat our conversation?
Absolutely sure. They obeyed me because I'm simulacrum. Valen can't countermand an instruction which told them to forget. But take out that panel there.
What, this one?
It's the shuttle guidance system. It's the one I have to link into.
Then you'll be able to fly the shuttle?
More than that. I'll be the shuttle. Machine-machine interface. Not something I'm too proud of.
Swallow your pride. This is a trick too valuable to do without.
I warned you, Randall.
All right, I'm sorry. I'm only recognizing that we need you. Isn't that what you want?
It'll do for now. Now leave me alone. I've got to concentrate.
Something's bothering me, Mitchell.
Didn't you hear him?
I can't get my mind away from this.
It'll have to wait.
It may be important. Look, we've all been talking about the Wek, and nobody's even asked what they look like.
Oh, does it matter?
Well, it might. What if they're 2 inches long and hiding all around us?
Because their ship was built for bodies slightly smaller than ours. Their doors, stairs, and ladders are all like the types we already know. They breathe a similar mix of air to us. They've got similar survival drives to ours.
And a damn big ship which tells them what to do. You make them sound so like us, I'm not sure I'd be able to tell us apart.
Oh, now you're being ridiculous.
Reptiles.
What?
They're like reptiles, cold-blooded and scaly. Their temperature follows that of their surroundings, and there's a threshold below which the hibernation pattern's triggered. Now, can I please get on with setting up the launch?
Well, I was only curious. I thought reptiles didn't hibernate.
Does it matter at this stage?
Can you two stop arguing for a minute and watch the airlocks for me?
How will we see them?
I'm trying to get control to open the viewing shutters for you. There.
Well, all I can see is wall on this side.
I can see the airlocks. They're the same as we left them.
No sign of the simulacrum?
Not so far. Wait a minute. The wheel in the center of the airlock door.
The manual override?
It's turning. They're coming for us.
Grab something and hang on tight. We've got no time for the niceties of an orderly launch, so I'm going to send the emergency signal to blow the outer bay doors into vacuum.
Oh, I should make a nice display.
If it works.
You mean it might not?
Nothing's impossible.
In that case, is it too late for us to apologize?
Damn right. Here goes the order.
What was that? The airlock was full of simulacra. The inner door burst open and they were sucked past us into outer space.
One of the bodies hit the ship. I've lost the forward sensors. I can't see my way out of the dock.
Keep going as you are, but raise the nose. Higher.
No, we haven't got the speed for a fine correction. I can't bring her any higher.
I've lost sight of the edge, but we're still too low.
It'll have to do.
We're clear on this side.
My God.
What's the matter? Somebody tell me.
It's the sight of the ship. We're like a tin fly falling away from it.
It seems to be going on forever. It's filling the screen on this side.
You're at the wrong angle. I can sight along it to the next ship. Even bigger. And there's the skeleton of another in a line beyond that.
I've got the far edge now. The stars are coming up beyond it.
Took some damage when we scraped out of the dock. I don't know how much without sensors.
As long as we can hold together long enough for Valen to get her fast cruisers mobilized, it's academic.
Well, will she chase the shuttle when it's empty?
We've got to hope so. Everything depends on us getting back into the world ship without being noticed.
Muskie, where are you?
Muskie was in the airlock when they blew the bay doors, Valen. He's gone.
How many have we lost?
5, including Muskie.
I don't know how they got that shuttle moving, but it's going to be their coffin. Everybody to the cruisers for target practice. You, Willis.
Yes, Valen.
Take Muskie's place. That means you follow me round and do as you're told, all right?
Yes, Valen.
And try to be a better machine than Muskie was.
Yes, Valen.
Bosco, what's the situation with the rats?
Not bad. A couple more days' work, that's all.
We haven't got a couple of days.
What do you mean?
I've just come from the beacon. We're getting a reflection from the icebreaker.
So soon? It's not possible.
It's more than possible. It's true. We've got about an hour to get ready.
We haven't finished lashing the pontoon.
I can't do anything about that. Tie 'em up as best you can and get 'em launched.
Hey, wait a minute, kid. I'm riding one of those things, and I'm not too keen on the idea of being dumped in the frozen slush that bounces the water out there.
Scared, Berg?
Now, what sort of a crack is
If
that?
you don't like it, step down and replace you myself.
Berg gives his place to nobody. He also isn't as stupid as he looks. Shut up, Berg. You've taken the kid's side again.
I'm taking nobody's side. The icebreaker only an hour away. We can't afford to start fighting among ourselves.
I've been here so many years, I've forgotten how long. For the sake of waiting a couple more months, we could screw up the plan now for lack of preparation. Then when the breaker comes back, if it comes back, you can be sure the damn shielding we're all relying on to be missing will have been replaced.
Well, not as unready to fire. What's the matter, Berg? You starting to like the old place?
You've got a nerve.
Damn right we have. We've all been whipped up into a frenzy of hope, and we're coasting on the high it's given us. Even Palmer here has been taking ships out on the ice without being pressured or rusted or forced.
Listen to Cohnberg, and then look at us. All right, so we're pretty miserable specimens by your standards. We aren't big and we aren't tough and we can't spit nails like you. We're riding a wave of guts and it won't last.
I'm going to be on that raft next to you. I don't like the idea of it being unfinished any more than you, but I know I'll like it even less when the first enthusiasm wears off. For me, it's now or never.
That goes for all of us. We're chasing a dream of freedom, Berg, and dreams don't stand up to lengthy examination. Not for us, anyway.
A shabby Cohnberg's as ready as the rest of you. He just likes to argue, isn't that right? If you say so. You can hardly move in this place for worms turning.
Yeah, that's a point. I've not seen the worm in ages.
You haven't been working on the raft for the grapples?
No, he's been sitting in his office in the dark ever since we stopped working the rosters. He won't come out.
Good. Leave the runt where he is.
Never mind the world. Let's get the rafts on the water.
Ice Palace!
We hear you.
You ready to receive supplies?
Certainly are.
Where are your loaders?
You see, he's suspicious already. Quiet. We are the loaders.
Are you sure about that? These crates are heavy.
We're stronger than we look. Oh, he doesn't believe us. He's going back into the ship, Killoran. What are we going to do now? Don't look at me. He mustn't know I'm hiding here. But he's not going to believe us. He's used to seeing the strongest men waiting to unload. And then he gets confronted by a couple of shrimps like us. Speak for yourself.
Stop whittering and try to look tough.
I was trying.
Puffing your chest up and sticking your backside out doesn't fool anybody. It makes you look deformed.
What else could we do?
Be mean and confident.
I think I can manage mean. What if he still doesn't believe us?
What does it matter? Keep him talking until Bulstrode and the others signal you from the deck above. They need time to bring themselves alongside and climb up through the gap in the shield.
How long's that going to
How
take?
should I know?
But he's got a gun, Killoran.
Which isn't dangerous until it's fired. Carry on as you are. He may drop it through laughing.
Look, this is serious. Somebody could be killed.
So keep him talking until we get the signal, and I can use the grapple to drag him down the ramp.
He's back.
Are you the only man available for unloading?
That's right. We were rostered.
It's a heavy consignment. I honestly don't think you'll be able to manage it.
Everybody else is sick. We've got something wrong with the yeast.
I've spoken to the captain, but he refuses to let me come down and help you. I'm sorry.
Nice of you to offer. We'll have to manage.
We're taking the bridge. Go get him, kid! What was that? What's going on up there?
Find the grapple! Get me that gun!
I've got it.
Follow me up the ramp and into the ship!
Go on without me.
Ah!
Look what you did to the boy. Your iron hook went straight through his shoulder. I'm not leaving him like that.
It was necessary!
It isn't necessary to leave him in agony. I'll catch you up.
Don't wait too long! Any minute now the doors will open and the rest of the bags will be coming on board!
Oh, go on!
Keep your hands where we can see them and don't try anything.
I wasn't even thinking of it.
That's good, Captain. You don't want to be a hero. There's nobody watching anyway.
That would take a lot of the satisfaction out of it. What do you think you're going to gain by this?
We're men of simple pleasures, Captain. We only want to go home.
And how do you think you're going to get there?
Stop screwing around, Cap. You're going to take us.
It's a pretty one-sided bargain.
It's a cruel world.
I don't see why you should enjoy my cooperation for nothing.
We're not exactly without trade goods. If you take us back, you get continuing good health. Between us, we know some fairly nasty ways of damaging a man.
Besides which, if we don't go back, you don't go back.
Well done, Bulstrode.
Farmer was the first over the side. He found the bridge.
We pulled the mate out of the cargo hold and disarmed him. We've come up through the ship.
It's just as we thought. A two-man crew and a lot of robot aids and automatics. Set the ship going and it runs itself.
There you are, Captain. You're not as precious as you think.
But you still need me to set it all up.
What's he talking about?
Try to fix up some kind of deal.
A deal? What does he think this is?
I'll have a safe career ruined because of this. I want some kind of compensation.
You expect me to talk fair terms after the way you abandoned me on the last run?
I'm paying for that now, aren't I?
You haven't started yet.
Give him the works. Feed him to burn.
What are you saying about me?
Hey, Killoran, what about the kid down below?
Don't worry about him.
He got messed up.
Dead?
Not that messed up.
So who's with him?
Doc stayed behind. He's taking the grapple line out of his shoulder.
Where did you get all this equipment?
Crates, staples and wire. The secret of our success. Now, are you going to fire up all this clapped-out machinery, or do we follow Palmer's suggestion and feed you to Berg?
Let me at it.
You, what was that?
I don't know. It sounded bad.
If you're trying to mess us around, mate, I'll just...
Why should I? It's my neck as well.
Can anybody hear me up there? Where's that coming from?
It's the intercom. The switch is behind you.
What's going on down there?
I was on the detail searching all the cargo holds and I found this trail of blood. I followed it and found the first officer messing with some controls on a panel. I stopped him, but I couldn't reset them. Now something's blown on the other side of the bulkhead.
Any sign of Doc?
None. Is he supposed to be here?
Didn't mess the kid up enough.
Oh, we'll when I get to him.
In the meantime, I don't want to be pessimistic, but if these readouts are correct, we've got no stabilizers on the starboard side.
What does that mean?
It means, basically, that we're going nowhere.
I can see some activity.
What kind of activity?
Slots opening all down the sides of the world ship. There's all kinds of craft coming out. Different shapes, different sizes.
Can't see anything on my side.
Well, don't start getting jealous.
What do you mean?
Oh, never mind what he means.
How long have we got before Balaam and her fleet blast us open?
Oh, I can't tell. This is all new to me. Ask Mitchell.
I can't. He's concentrating.
It's a waste of time. The shuttle's not responding properly because of the damage we took when we blasted out of the dock. I can't set a course, and I can't even get us away from the weak attraction of the world ship.
What does that mean?
It means all we can do is circle round it, right?
I can see that much.
That's right. If Valem scores a couple of hits and knocks us out of the reach of the gravity field, the automatics will probably take over and home in on the Ice Palace. But all she'd have to do is follow the shuttle down and pick it off whenever she feels like it.
Well, what does it matter? We won't be on it.
Might be safer if we were.
Now, what's that supposed to mean?
Please, Lobo, we'll have to trust Randall. Yeah, I've trusted him before. The man's a patriotic maniac.
I can't help the way I feel. But this is survival. And if you've got any better ideas, I'm willing to follow them.
What do you think?
Now, look, Lobo. How many times are we going to have this conversation?
Every time you're trying to get my backside fried.
If we'd stayed, we'd have been hunted down and killed. If we stay here, we're going to be overtaken and blasted.
So your alternative is for us to sit hunched in an old clothes locker with about a teaspoonful of air each while Mitchell pushes us back towards the dock.
Mitchell says he can do it.
He said he could fly the shuttle.
What's that supposed to mean?
It's not so long ago since you were telling me how great he's supposed to be.
Pardon me for pointing it out, but that artificial planet is big. I bet you can't even see the dock from here.
It doesn't matter. I've been wired into the navigation board and the course is in my head. It'll be like walking round your own bedroom in the dark.
What if we miss?
We won't. We'll fall towards the ship whatever we do, and I'll have plenty of mass to throw away to make corrections.
How much air will they have?
What do you mean, they?
You'll be with us.
No. I'll slow you down. I'll be more frightened than I ever wish to be.
Stay in the shuttle and you'll be dead.
Probably. But at least it will be quick, and I won't see it coming. Without me, you'll have more room and more air. I'll stay and move around by the open ports to mislead Valem.
You make me ashamed, Morton.
No, don't be. It's healthy to raise your doubts.
Firing! It's already not close enough to do as much damage yet.
If they score a couple of mild hits, we'll be concealed by the debris. Time to get down to the hold and pull lockers.
That was closer. They're catching up faster than I thought.
Don't worry, Morton. I'll stop them one way or another.
I trust you. Lobo, a word before you go.
You want me to listen?
No, just Lobo.
Carry on down. I'll catch you up.
Goodbye, Morton. Right, Mitchell. Let's go. Come on. How do you intend to get us out?
Same as back on the world ship. Blow the emergency doors into vacuum and follow them out. I'll try to time it to coincide with a hit so they won't look for us in all the junk that comes out around us. Is this the locker you had in mind?
Yes, that's the one. We hid from you in it on the first trip out here.
I never even thought to look.
No, but you've changed since then. It was obvious when you walked into Manius's chambers.
I know. It's been like that ever since I tapped into the wet computer. I hope it doesn't wear off.
So do I, for all our sakes.
Is this the locker?
Yes, this is the one. Now, we know it's airtight because we nearly suffocated last time we were in it.
Let's go.
Is there something wrong?
No.
Something Morton told you?
I said it's nothing. Let's go.
All units, this is Valem. Stop firing on the shuttle.
What's the matter, Valem? They'll get away.
You're not close enough to hit them, you stupid jerks. They're not going anywhere we can't follow and overhaul them. When we get into range, nobody fires before me. Is that understood?
Yes, I think I can reach them, Valem. Watch.
What did I just tell you?
But I hit them square on. There's a cloud of junk pouring out of the side.
There's a pile of junk at the controls of your ship. That was the cargo hold you hit, and it's isolated from the manned areas. All you've done is nudge them out of orbit, so we'll have to follow them.
Sorry, Valem.
You will be. I'll have your bearings. Don't you ever disobey me again.
Valem, are you in a position to speak?
Everybody close channels for 2 minutes. I'm getting a message from the WEC.
Standing down.
Go ahead. Nobody else can hear us.
Leave the shuttle. It's no longer important.
It's important to me.
We're disappointed, Valem.
I'm not being disloyal. It's necessary for morale.
Whose? Your own? Since when have you needed petty rewards to ensure your loyalty?
My loyalty isn't in question.
We hope not. There is more urgent business for you.
You want us to return?
No. Let the shuttle go and follow it down. Establish a ground base where it lands.
Does this mean that the operation's starting?
It does. A ground commander will be sent to join you. Are you still unwilling?
Forget that I spoke. I'll wait for the shuttle to land and then kill Randall myself.
Killing Randall means more to you than the operation.
The blood bag tricked me. You know the pride of a simulacrum.
Don't let it blind you. This stage of the affair requires delicacy and reserve.
You'll get all the delicacy and reserve I'm capable of when I've strangled the blood bag. Is it too much to ask?
Dispose of your obsession quickly. Set the fleet to follow the shuttle.
Oh, cool. Thank God for that. I must have breathed the same air 3 times over.
I'm sorry, but we fell more slowly than I thought we would. I've never tried it before.
Oh, you did fine. Where are we?
Same place as we set off. The airlock in the cargo dock.
Is there likely to be anybody on the other side of that door?
I don't know. I doubt it.
How can you be sure?
I counted the ships as we came in. As far as I could tell, all the cruisers were out.
How long before they come back?
They were following the shuttle.
Well, you mean they didn't blast it?
Not after we left. The shuttle was pushed out of its orbit and the fleet fell into formation behind it.
Then it means they're going to follow it down to the ice cap. That sounds bad.
Well, it doesn't sound so bad if they're not coming back.
At least it gives us some room to move. Now, it's up to you, Mitchell. Take us to where you tapped into the wet memory.
Well, let's get the door open first. Look out. Trouble.
Don't worry. It's only the marionettes.
Mitchell. Orders, Mitchell. Our one desire is to serve.
They seem to have latched onto you.
Ignore them. They're harmless.
Please, Mitchell.
What did you say?
Please, Mitchell. Take us with you.
Take you where?
Forget it, Randall. They don't seem to hear you.
I don't understand this.
Phelan's gone. We're alone. We need you, Mitchell.
Don't be ridiculous. Your machines. You don't need anything.
Please, Mitchell.
Get away from me.
Have some pity.
Pity? What are you talking about?
You're one of us, Mitchell. You know it.
I'm not one of you. I'm a man. Tell them.
He's a man.
You could at least sound as if you believed it.
Stay with us, Mitchell. You belong with us. We're nothing without you.
Be nothing then.
May we at least be permitted to follow?
No. Stay away from me.
At a respectful distance.
Not at any distance. Stay away from me.
Please, Mitchell.
Get your hands off.
You're all we have. We live to serve.
Stop. Now that's better. Now move away from the airlock door. It's clear. We can move out into the corridor.
Are they dangerous?
I can't understand it. I've never seen them like this.
Oh, I feel kind of sorry for them.
Sorry for that trash? Don't joke, Lobo. It's in bad taste.
No need to snap at me just because you feel sorry for them as well.
They're nothing to me.
Will they follow us?
Not if they're given a direct instruction against it.
I better do it then. They could get in our way.
Marionettes, listen. This is a direct order.
He's taking us. He's going to take us with him.
You're not coming with me. Under no circumstance are you to follow. Is that understood? Is that understood?
We understand. Our one desire is to obey.
They can't follow us now. Come on.
What will happen to them?
Who cares?
I heard him say, come on, but not to us. He may have meant us, but he didn't. We are marionettes. We must obey. We have to stay. That could be forever. It isn't for us to say.
I can't get used to this continuous feeling of walking up a wall.
There isn't a straight line in the whole of the ship. It's because of the gravity.
What?
But the weight you've got isn't due to gravity. It's your own inertia trying to push you out through the ship's walls as it spins, but the rotation also adds a Coriolis force. You tend to go sideways.
Oh, I don't feel it.
That's because of the twist in the corridor. It cancels out the forces and leaves you upright in the middle.
I've lost count of the passageways and the odd-shaped open areas we've come through. Is the whole ship like this?
It'll make a pretty unattractive sort of place to live in. No wonder the Weck are so mean.
There are only 6 levels of corridors lining the inside of the cylinder. Inside that, there's a large enclosed space, a kind of park. We have to cross it.
Will it be dangerous?
No. It's overgrown and deserted, but you may find it hard to take.
A park? Come on, Big Mitchell.
See for yourself. These steps lead us up into the open.
Well, there's nothing living in there. I don't see the...
Oh. What's the matter, Lobo? Oh. It's only a park after all.
Oh, I've got to sit down.
Close your eyes if it's too much to take.
Don't worry, I have.
Hasn't it disturbed you, Randall?
I've never seen anything like this. The ground slopes up and away on both sides and then further up and over and meets in an arch above.
I saw it. Don't remind me.
But the pathways and the dead trees follow it around. It isn't the roof. It's all the floor.
Of course it is. Now you can see the spiral twist in the cylinder from one end to the other. You can stand anywhere on the inner surface except at the ends. Now, if you can overcome your surprise, we have to cross to the far side.
I'll be all right if I don't look up. I'm sure I will.
Paths are still clear, but look out for moss or fungus. When the wake moved out, the ship's ecology was tipped right over. This is the parkland, and they used it for basking. There are shutters at the cylinder ends which open to let sunlight in when the ship's near a star, and they get the luxury of radiant heat. Otherwise, they're dependent on the in-ship systems to keep them up to temperature and awake.
So, when the temperature drops, they've got to hibernate, whether they like it or not.
Basically, yes. They have to get to the sleep chambers which fill the ship under our feet, or else they'd never live through the sleep. They'd use up all their fat and water reserves in the first 100 years if the ship didn't replace them.
You say you've never seen a wreck?
No, and I've never much wanted to.
Look over to your left. I think that's one.
Where?
Don't be alarmed.
That's only a boulder or something.
A boulder? In here? Look closer.
Yeah, he's right. It's some kind of statue.
Like a scaly lizard in a half-crouch. You said they were reptilian.
That was only an impression, but I suppose under all that moss, yes, I think you're right.
Does it get us anywhere?
Know your enemy.
If we fall over one of those, we'll have a hard time mistaking it.
Are you still worried about telling them from us?
What's the situation with the icebreaker?
It looks bad. There are these big tanks of heavy oil which seem to be being pumped from one side to the other to keep the icebreaker upright. One of the tanks is split right open and the oil's pouring out like cold honey.
Can we fix them?
Not a chance. We haven't got the technology for repairing a pressure vessel like that. If we had, we'd have been away long ago.
Could we do without the stabilizers then?
Not according to the captain. There's a fail-safe in the main computer which won't let the ship move without one. Nobody knows how to get round it, and if we could, we'd be asking for trouble.
What about Doc? Any sign of him?
Berg's out looking, but it's not very hopeful.
Damn that first officer. I should have made a better job of him.
No, don't say that.
Well, it's true. He's ruined our main hope of escape, and it looks like he's killed one of us as well.
One of us?
That's what I said, Cole.
Checked out the ice palace, the ship, and the ice all around it. Doc isn't anywhere, and the kid wouldn't tell us what he'd done.
Could be that you didn't ask the right questions. Bring him in here.
It's going to be rather difficult.
What do you mean?
Well, Doc was only skinny and weak, so I reckon it wouldn't have been too much trouble for the kid to push him off the loading ramp and into the water.
With only the use of one arm?
I don't see why not. That's all I used, to make it fair.
Use for what?
I sent him on after. Nobody needs that kind of trouble hanging around when they're trying to think.
But that's murder!
Why do you think they sent me here in the first place?
You can't criticize Berg. Not when you were proposing the same thing yourself.
But that was different. Killing somebody in an act of war isn't the same as murder.
One day, when we've got lots of time and somewhere warm to sit, you'll have to explain that one to me. In the meantime, why don't we do something constructive and talk about how we're going to make the ship go?
It looks like we can't.
Don't be stupid. It's standing there with its engines turning over, already set for off. You already said it runs itself.
It runs itself and it's stopping itself. There doesn't seem to be anything we can do about it.
Well, this is great. Try telling that to all those poor crumbs down in the bunk rooms getting their belongings together. They think they're going home.
There's nothing I can do about it.
Nothing? That's pretty negative talk from somebody who set himself up as the palace's biggest hope when he was dumped on the doorstep. Better start thinking, Killoran, before that hope turns into something more nasty when they find you can't deliver.
I'm out of ideas. Some clear-cut before. Isn't that what made it so attractive to you?
Nobody loves a one-shot wonder. Come up with something else.
I can't.
Leave him alone, Berg. He wants to get away as much as you do.
I don't think so. Nobody wants to get away as much as I do. Start by asking some simple questions, like what would the captain do if these stabilizer things had failed of their own accord on an ordinary ship?
I don't know.
There would have to be some way he could get help. There's got to be some backup plan for routine failures.
Well, did anybody think to ask the question?
Not until now. Let's get up to the bridge. Palmer's guarding the captain. Has he been giving you any trouble, Palmer?
Can't say it has. Precious little help, though.
Is it necessary for me to be penned in and guarded like this? I'm not likely to try sabotaging anything. I want to get back as much as you do.
How do we know you're not going to try a suicide operation like your friend?
Suicide? What do you mean?
Never mind.
The tank's only split. It couldn't explode. He wasn't in any danger.
That's why he needed help.
They were right to send you here. You're animals. You as well.
Never mind me. Be careful what you say in front of Berg. He's a sensitive soul and he's easily offended.
Damn right.
I've been trying to get information out of this crump. All I've learned is that he knows nothing and he can't do anything.
That's true. It makes you the most dispensable person on the ice cap. How do you like the sound of that?
Not very much.
You still want to try and talk deals with us?
Don't get me wrong. I don't expect anything from you.
Make us grateful and you'll stay alive.
We've all seen this ship. It's rotten and it's falling apart. Half the machinery's thick with rust and the shielding's hanging off. The chances are that you'd have a major breakdown of some kind on your way to the palace or on your way back. I want to know what you'd do in a case like that.
I've been lucky. It's never happened. I've never had such a disaster that I couldn't get the ship home.
I'm not interested in that. I want to know what you'd do if there is a disaster. Who you call and how.
There's nobody I can call. There isn't another ship in the city that could get out here.
So what do you do?
Nothing. If it's as bad as that, I'd be dead.
You mean you'd be left out there without any kind of rescue?
Exactly that.
And what would happen to us?
There would be no more supplies. I don't know how that would affect you.
I always thought we were badly off. I'm only just finding out how badly.
Damn it, the ship's useless to us.
One of the teams has managed to plug the split in the stabilizer tank. Won't take any pressure, but at least there's no oil coming out.
Isn't there anything we can use to repair it?
Not in the ice palace. All we've got is wood, wire, cladding, and yeast. And none of it's the best of its kind. You all know this.
Yes, but... What about the spaceport at the other end of the pipe network? Could there be anything there?
We could send a team over to take a look. The weather's been improving ever since we froze the instruments on the reactor.
Calling the bridge. Is Killoran there?
I'm here.
Something's going on. Bulster's on his way over and he looks excited about something. I think you should come down.
I'm on my way. Come on, Berg, I'm going to need you. Cone, I want you to supervise the transfer of a yeast supply across to the ship.
What about me?
Stay here for now. I'll send somebody up to relieve you.
You'd better be telling the truth.
Why should I lie?
I wouldn't know. But it seems fishy that they'd abandon you like that.
Do you think I was happy with it that way?
Why take it on?
The choice wasn't mine. Or rather, it was no choice at all. I was a captain on the city merchant fleet, transporting cargo between the city docks and the farming belt. I was caught carrying underbelly black market goods as a sideline. The Ice Palace run was my sentence. The alternative was to join you as an inmate.
You took the easy way, believe me.
That's not how it looks from here.
What's the matter, Bulstrode?
Don't ask me. Look at the sky.
All right, so it's a comparatively fine day. That isn't news.
Over the horizon, on the other side of the icebreaker.
He's right. There's something up there.
And it's coming this way. I saw it about 10 minutes ago. It's nothing more than a brilliant spot. Looked like a daytime star, but it's moving and getting bigger.
A comet, perhaps.
Or a manned vessel.
The city's got nothing like that. It can't be.
What about Palmer and his lights in the sky?
Everybody treated that as a joke.
Except Palmer. He still says he knows what he saw.
I don't know.
Get him down here. Ask him.
I can't. He's guarding the captain.
Then send somebody else.
Berg, you go and relieve Palmer.
No chance. I want to watch.
There you are. Argue with that.
Whatever it isn't stable, and it's headed straight for us.
It's going to hit the palace. That's what I call close. It clipped the beacon mast off the top of the palace.
It's about half a mile away, right over the old spaceport. Berg, get a team and all the empty sleighs you can find and follow me down.
This is more like it. Pull something out of the act for us, kid.
Better stay back, Berg. That thing's hot.
But look at the footprints in the snow. That kid went straight inside.
Sure, but can you see any prints coming out?
It's wrecked. It's of no use to us.
We won't know that until we know where it came from and why.
Well, if you'll pardon the expression, it's one of ours. It's got the city's mark inside.
You said the city doesn't have anything like this.
I didn't think it had.
Is there anybody inside?
One man. If there's any way we can find to make use of it, we've got an injured councillor for a hostage.
This is Balaam to all units. The shuttle is now on the ground.
Do you want us to follow it down?
No. Everybody is to stand off in orbit until they get the signal to land. For the moment, I'll go down alone. Is that understood?
Understood.
Willis?
Yes, Balaam?
We're going down to the Ice Palace. Does the idea bother you?
Should it?
No. But if you see anybody down there and you're tempted to think of them as old friends, remember, they're blood bags. They belong to another life.
I'll remember. Don't worry about me.
That's good. And Willis?
Yeah?
If you should be tempted, remember that the ground commander's on his way. He wouldn't like you to show any sympathy.
I won't.
Please, you must listen to me. There isn't much time.
I listened to you once, Morden. I don't intend to repeat the mistake.
Oh, I know what I did to you, and I'm sorry.
Naturally.
But it was necessary, believe me. I couldn't go against Marius.
You're pathetic, Morden. You think you can turn our opinions over with a couple of weak lies?
Now, wait a minute, Kaloran. I came down in that shuttle fully expecting to die in it. I don't have to listen to your complaints.
I don't think you quite understand the position, Morden.
I understand it too well. There's danger following me down, and you're not going to be fit to meet it.
Whatever you're trying to pull, forget it. I know you're only worried about your own interests, so think about this. There are just short of 60 men in the Ice Palace. At the moment, they're getting themselves ready for a trip in a ship that can't go anywhere. They know it, but they don't want to believe it, and they're expecting a miracle with all the confidence they're capable of, which, I might add, isn't very much after the treatment they've had from the Council.
What treatment? The Council didn't say...
Exactly, Councillor! You came to power and did nothing for them. They're all underbelly, and they expected the gesture of brotherhood. You're not the most popular person in the palace, Councillor.
Will you stop this petulant ranting and listen to me? Where do you think that shuttle came from?
That's one of the things I want to know.
You don't want to know anything. You're just looking for an excuse to rat because I didn't hand Randall back to you when you demanded it.
Yeah, Randall's dead because of action you refused to take.
Randall is alive. What? At this moment, he's somewhere overhead. And he's looking for a way to disable a war machine.
Oh, you had a harder landing than we thought. It's messed your brains around.
I don't intend to waste my time with explanations for you to laugh at. Watch the skies.
For what? The first cuckoo of spring? I'm looking at it now.
Gallagher, get your backside out here. There's another one coming down.
Another what?
I'm not saying it twice. It sounded mad enough the first time.
Now, do you understand what I'm saying?
Morden, help me. I don't understand this.
Then listen, and don't challenge me. That cruiser is piloted by what looks like a woman. But don't be misled. As far as you're concerned, she is enemy. She'll think Randall's here because she doesn't know he left the shuttle. And that's the only bargaining point we have. They can't start the operation they planned until they've got Randall back. Don't ask me why, because it's complicated and you won't like it. There are only two people who know the reason. I am one, and Lobo is the other. He didn't like it either.
Who's Lobo?
Never mind. Concentrate on the negotiating you're going to be doing. You've got to buy some time for Randall.
Willis, can you hear me?
Yes, Phelan?
I'm about to put us down at the Ice Palace. I want you to stay out of sight at first.
Whatever you say, Phelan.
Don't be too submissive, Willis. You're acting like a marionette. Ask me why.
Well, why do I have to stay out of sight, Phelan?
Because the bloodbags are easily impressed. They think the old Willis is dead, and producing you at the right moment could be very effective.
Effective for what?
Randall will be down there somewhere, probably hiding. I want them to hand him over. I'm doing nothing until I get him.
How do the WEC feel about that?
They accept it. They have to. I'm no use to them unless I'm a fairly independent agent. I was made to fight people. If the WEC trusted their own judgment for that, they wouldn't need me. Besides, we're waiting for the ground commander.
What will he be like?
Like me, but even better. What a team we'll make.
You're inhuman, Phelan.
Why, thank you, Willis.
Is this the place?
This is it. It's where I came for the information that Morden wanted.
Oh, it doesn't look much.
It isn't much. Most of the useful stuff was ripped out when they transferred across to the bigger ship. The memories are complete, though.
How can you be sure?
Because they're not hardware. You can't just pick them up and carry them over. For one thing, the ship would die as you were doing it.
So, how did they manage?
Well, they used this unit to design another, then recorded all the memories across until they had a perfect copy.
Like the ship was making a simulacrum out of itself.
I suppose so. Never gave it that much thought.
And there's no point wasting time on it now. Can you control the ship from here?
I think so.
Think so's not enough. Can you do it?
I won't know until I've tried. At least give me a chance.
I'm sorry, but time's limited.
I know, and there's a lot to do. You'd better leave me alone.
Well, hurry it up.
I can't hurry it up. I'll be as long as it takes.
But you were able to plug straight into the shuttle.
Then look at the lousy job I made of it. Anyway, this isn't the shuttle. It's a 10-mile cylinder. You haven't even told me what I've got to do with it.
Now, come on, Randall. About time you spilled this magnificent plan you've been cooking.
I'm not sure it will work.
Ah, now you tell me.
Shut up and listen. Morden gave me the idea when he said we couldn't disable the wreck ship without turning off the sun.
I'm not sure I want to vote for that.
Nobody's voting on it. We're going to do it.
You're overestimating my abilities.
It's the only answer I can come up with on the information I've got. The ship needs direct sunlight. Without it, the power supply cuts down to virtually nothing and gets diverted to basic survival needs and nothing else. Now, when the power goes, the Wek have to dive for their survival couches before the biological hibernation mechanism takes over, triggered by the fall in temperature. If they don't do that, they risk wasting away in cold sleep over an indefinite period. They don't even know when they're going to find another usable system.
Full marks for alien biology, but your physics are overambitious.
I want you to find a way of firing up whatever propulsion system this deserted ship uses. I want you to accelerate its orbit so it collides with the inhabited ship in front. Now, it's got to be right in two respects. The most important one is that it has to push the inhabited ship into a planetary eclipse.
What does that mean?
It means that the other ship has to be pushed out of the line of sight of the sun, into the planet's shadow.
Can you do that?
I don't know. What's the other thing I have to get right?
The collision has to be hard enough for the two ships to be mangled together at the point of contact. Enough for us to get through. Now, can that be done?
It can probably be done, but not by me.
Why not?
What do you think I am? I've got the mind and most of the memories of an ordinary man. You seem to think I'm some kind of miracle worker.
But you're not an ordinary man.
You accepted me as one?
Because it was convenient. It kept you quiet and Morden happy. But it's time to face realities, Mitchell.
So you can't control your prejudice anymore. If you're not prepared to let me be a man, what am I? I think you like the alternative even less.
It's time you went in for some intelligent self-assessment and stopped being obsessed with faking yourself a family tree. You are what you are, and you won't understand that until you've found your limitations. Scared of trying?
Why should I be scared?
You don't know what you may find. It could be better than you hope.
You're a whole lot worse.
He's right, Mitchell. You should at least give it a try.
It's easy for you to say that.
Yeah, sure it is. Doesn't make it any less true, though.
But I know what I am. As a man, I barely rate. Shows every time you speak to me. And as a machine, I'm hardly better than the marionettes.
Remember how you felt when you stepped into Marius's chambers. You've just come from here, and you are crammed with life and confidence. You can interface with the machine around us, and we can't.
I don't want to do it again.
Because you don't want to risk liking it. You resent the kick it gives to the machine part of you.
That's a lie.
You know it isn't. You've suspected it yourself, and you're not man enough to put it to the test.
Get out of my way.
What are you doing?
I'm sitting in the controller's seat. I don't want to be disturbed.
How long is he going to sit staring at that screen?
Well, like you said, as long as it takes. I can only assume he's taking information from it.
It seems like just colors and music to me.
He must be seeing more. But even if he understands it, will he be able to use it?
I damn well hope so. That was quite an ass-kicking you gave him.
No, he needed it. He's too inclined to feel sorry for himself.
How much of it did you mean?
I don't know. Does it really matter?
I would have thought so.
An idea's an idea. Doesn't make any difference whether it's sincere or not, as long as it gets the right reaction.
Look, assume for a minute he can do it. Assume that he locks the two ships together and we can transfer across. What the hell do we do then?
With the power right down, we'll have the run of their ship. We find the equivalent of this control room and wreck it.
And what then? How are we supposed to get home?
I don't know. And that's the only honest answer I can give you.
Oh, thanks for that much anyway.
It can be done, but it isn't going to be easy.
Nobody said it would be. Can you do it from here?
From this chair, nowhere else.
I don't see anything that looks like controls.
There aren't any. The WEC don't have any power over what the ship does.
But you think you have?
I can't replace the main computer, if that's what you mean. But I can work inside it.
How?
Not in any way you'd understand. I have to join the machine, be part of it. Then I can use my thoughts and impulses to give it drive, and they're automatically translated into action by drawing on the ship's memories and capabilities. Like the shuttle, I become the ship.
Sounds like one hell of a trip, and damn lucky you can do it.
Lucky nothing. It's part of my design capability. How do you think Balaam and the other simulacra are piloting their cruisers?
Is that why you resisted the idea so much, when you knew all along you could do it?
I knew nothing of the kind. Something could still go wrong. You ever heard of celestial mechanics?
They fix spaceships?
It's a field of mathematics and navigation in which the shortest distance between 2 points is hardly ever a straight line. A slight error either way, and we could send the line of ships cannoning down through the atmosphere and right onto the city, or else just bust a hole and lose all our air. Watch the screen.
How do you do that?
I think it, and it happens. These are plans of the 2 ships. The third and newest one doesn't appear anywhere in this computer's memory, so I'll have to guess and make some allowance for it.
What do those lines mean?
You can only see a few of them. The rest are outside the range of your vision. I'm running through all the possible scenarios of action, and those lines represent the angles and courses available to us. The diagram represents a 3-dimensional model in the machine.
A real model?
A mathematical one.
That's too fast. I can't look.
Don't then. If I slow it down, it'll take hours instead of minutes.
Let him alone, Randall. He seems to know what he's doing. I hope so.
What was that?
That was the first major disaster scenario. We missed the Weck ship completely, tore loose, and shot off towards the sun.
Don't much like the sound of that one.
Perhaps you can find us something cooler.
I thought that one would work.
Don't worry about it. Try another.
He seems to be enjoying it.
He's finding potential he didn't know about. He's so obsessed with being considered a man that he forgot there might be some advantage in being a machine.
But it's a matter of pride. How would you like to think that you were an artificial construct?
I wouldn't. But that's not the point. The point is we keep feeding him the right lines to make sure he stays happy. While he's happy, he's useful.
And when he's not?
He's just another appliance.
You haven't meant a word you've said to him. It was all a lie to get what you wanted.
Of course it was. I'm not blind. Look at him.
I'm looking at you, Randall. I'm wondering whether it's better to be a machine with a dream or a man without a soul.
That's it. That's the one.
What have you found?
Watch. I'll run it through on the screen slowly. Now, this is about 1/10 real time.
That's still pretty
We have
slow.
a burn at all the points shown there by red lights. The length of the burn has to be exact. Watch the diagram of our ship begin to move towards the other.
Ah, there it goes.
Now, we've got a precisely defined angular momentum. At this point, we have to have a second burn, a shorter one.
Why, what was wrong with the first one?
Nothing. But it was only necessary to get us into position for this next move. Watch.
Our ship's veering away. It's going to miss.
No, it isn't. Look, it's going to put the Weck ship right on its edge.
My first mistake was because I was trying to make the ship rebound onto a new course. But it won't work like that. You have to give a straight push in the right direction. I'll speed the diagram up now.
The 2 ships are pulling apart.
We'll have no more than an hour to get down to the damaged area and make the transfer into the Weck ship. That's about the same length of time as it'll take for the 2 to travel around the planet and out of the sunlight onto their new course. Then their own inertia will pull them apart.
Won't their ship be able to react and bring itself back?
Not in time. Besides which, it'll have to start powering down. But there's another problem.
What's that?
An hour later, we'll be around and back into the sunlight. The hibernation sequence will start reversing.
It doesn't leave much margin.
Well, it doesn't leave any margin. Can't we think of something else?
Like what?
Well, like something that means we can stay here to manage everything from a distance. So we don't have to go into a ship full of things like that statue we saw.
This is no time to start calling up all your old bad dreams. When are we going to start the sequence?
I started it as soon as I knew I'd found the right one.
Oh, I didn't hear anything.
Why should you expect to?
Can you put us a display on the screen? Let us see how far along we are.
There. The second burn's just finished.
Well, by the looks of that, we're almost at collision.
What's happening?
That's it. There's nothing more I can do here.
How far to the crossover?
About 2 miles. We'll have to hurry.
Well, take all the time you've got. The longer, the better.
Have they finished talking yet? Can you tell what they're saying? Stop nagging at me, Cone. I can't read lips, and the glare from the eyes is starting to blind me. Move over then, Berger. Let me try. I'm taller than you. I can see better. I'm only giving you a rest. I don't need a rest. I can still see fine.
Right for you, but how about sharing what you're seeing?
I was trying, wasn't I? How about giving me a chance? All right, both of you. Berg, go ahead and tell us what you can see. Killoran's talking to the woman. Whatever it is he's saying, she's not very pleased. It looks as if she could be threatening him with something. But he's not backing down.
He better not if Morden was telling us the truth.
Ah, Killoran's a good kid. He won't screw up on us.
He's also elite. Don't forget, he might sell his house.
What's going on down here? Quiet, Worm. Berg's concentrating. Berg's doing what? What's so funny?
All back into the woodwork, Worm. We've managed fine without you so far.
You had your chance to join us. I don't want to join you. I only asked what's going on. There's something happening. Shut up, Worm. What is it? She got angry. Looked like she was going to hit him. And she turned around and climbed back into that jet thing she came down in. Is she leaving? No, all the hatches are still open. But I can't see what she's doing. Killoran's coming back. How does he look? Is he pleased? He's as white as the ice. He looks downright scared. Well, somebody please tell me what's going on.
We don't even know ourselves.
Can't you find something to do?
Is there anything I can do?
Sure is. Crawl off somewhere else, worm. Somebody open the hatch and let Killoran in. Who is she? What does she want? Can she get us off the ice? Yes. Wait, all of you. Give him a chance.
Morden was right. She wants Randall, and I'll let her think he's here.
Why does everybody seem to want Randall?
Who's this?
Nobody. Carry on, kid.
She must be from one of the other colonized systems on the Space Trade Network. It seems there's a main ship in orbit, and she thinks that Randall escaped from that. But according to Morden, he's still up there. She wants us to hand him over so she can kill him.
Is that all?
What happens when we can't?
She'll come in after him.
What kind of threat's that?
Don't forget, she's armed, and she's strong.
She still doesn't stand a chance against all of us.
You didn't see what I saw. She made the point by reaching out and squeezing the leading edge on that cruiser's wing. When she took her hand away, there was an impression in the metal.
I don't believe it.
Is that a sincere opinion or just rhetoric?
I don't know. What's rhetoric?
Anything's possible if she's from another system, Bulstrode. We've had no contact with anybody outside for generations, so how would we know?
If Morden says Randall's still up on the main ship, how did he get there?
The same shuttle Morden came down in. It was homing on the Ice Palace beacon.
How come we didn't see it?
I saw it once. Nobody believed me.
It came and went during the storms.
Storms where people disappeared. What the hell's been going on under our noses?
I don't know. But if Morden's to be believed, and I'm still not 100% sure on that point, then a lot depends on us stalling this woman until Randall's finished whatever he's doing.
And what is that?
I don't know.
Oh, sounds flimsy.
It doesn't sound any better than me, but what else have we got?
Looks like we'll have to give Morden the benefit, unless anybody's got a more likely explanation.
Where is Morden?
We took him onto the icebreaker. There was a first aid kit on there, which is more than we could offer. Could have done with Doc to help us, though.
None of this will be easy.
Why? What do you intend to do?
I'm going to try to capture that cruiser.
What? That's asking for trouble. It's the first practical suggestion anybody's come up with. Count me in.
Even if you were successful, you couldn't fly it.
Details. Count me in as well.
It'll be suicide.
Not if we're sneaky about it.
And it's a damn sight better than sitting here arguing over things we know nothing about.
So you take the cruiser. What then?
Then we worry about what to do next.
He's there, all right, Willis. He's there, and they won't give him to me.
So what's happening now?
I've given them some time to think about it. Told them they'd better hand Randall over, or else...
Or else what?
I'll go in and bring him out if I have to. I don't really want to do it this way. Enough of them together might damage me in the same way as Randall damaged Pearson.
You could blast the whole palace from the air.
I could, but I wouldn't see Randall squirm. I need that satisfaction.
The Wecker's been trying to call you on the radio. They won't speak to me.
When was this?
A few minutes ago. I didn't call you because you wanted me to stay hidden.
That's good. Keep it that way, because I've thought of a way I can use you. Balaam here. Are you calling me?
Balaam, matters are moving fast up here. Is your ground base established?
No, I haven't got Randall yet.
Forget Randall.
We've been through all this before.
A short time ago, our old world decided to come alive and make use of its propulsion systems. We are sliding towards the shadow of the planet. You know what this will mean?
You'll have to go into emergency shutdown.
For a few hours only. In that period, you will be on your own. And we want your full attention on the operation.
But why did the old ship begin to move?
It was a development we did not anticipate. But one which, nevertheless, pleased us.
What do you mean?
We recognize it to be part of the field test of the ground commander. At this moment, he is striving to destroy us.
I don't understand.
The tests have been going on for some time. We placed certain blocks in the ground commander's mentality. He is unaware of his real capabilities and his true loyalty to the wing. His task was to fathom and penetrate our own defenses. No other simulacrum has been tested to such an extreme. When he reaches our strategic centers, we will know he is ready.
The ground commander's trying to destroy you?
He thinks he is. But in the end, he will find he is unable and unwilling to do so.
That's it. They've gone into emergency shutdown.
Well, what are we going to do now?
Nothing.
But
nothing. It'll be several hours before they're out of the enforced hibernation program. And you heard what they said. I'm on my own until then.
I also heard them say to forget Randall.
I didn't hear it. And neither did you.
Yes, Balaam.
Follow me. I can see a break where we can get through to the other ship.
I can hardly stay on my feet because of the wind.
Both ships are losing atmosphere around the impact zone. That's why we have to hurry before the walls have a chance to close themselves up. Come on.
But we've only just moved into the shadow of the planet. What if they're not asleep yet on the other side?
Then we find out how they can fight. Come on. Look over there. One of them hasn't made it to the hibernation chamber.
Don't go too close.
It slowed right down. It must have been caught in the dropping temperature as the air escaped.
Is like a lizard. We were right about the statue. Listen, don't go too close. Being slowed down isn't the same as being asleep. I don't like the look of those jaws.
The creatures themselves are weak. They need the ship to support them and the simulacrum to do their dirty work. Don't forget, that's why we're here. You can study them when we've disabled their ship. Until then, we've got to go carefully.
Why? What's the danger if they're all like this one?
They may not be. The further in we go, the warmer it'll be.
He seems to get more confident every minute. Well, that's good. I've had enough of dragging his tongue out of his mouth and trying to cheer him up.
This is it. I recognize the sound.
It doesn't look like the console and the other ship.
It's a completely different design. It worries me.
Do what you have to. I'll keep a lookout on the door.
That shouldn't be necessary. The temperature's dropping all the time.
Yeah, you don't have to tell me. I wish my suit units were working.
Oh,
never mind that. Do what you have to.
At least give me a chance to work it out.
What's there to work out? Plug in and get going.
You don't plug in. You wouldn't understand.
What's the matter, Mitchell? Surely you're not getting twinges of old loyalties.
What's that supposed to mean?
You're the only one here who can get access to the programming of that thing.
That's not what you were starting to say.
All right, then, I'll say it. You're either a man or a machine. I know what you say, but I still don't know which you really are deep inside. Now we're at the moment of truth and you're dithering.
It's a different console. I don't understand it.
Try. Don't waste time with excuses.
And what do you know about it,
Go on, say it. The word's blood bag, isn't it?
Yes, damn you.
Randall, you're pushing him too far. If you want to be a man, Mitchell, earn the right. If you don't understand it, pick a place and smash it.
Watch this then, Randall. And the next one's for you.
Move away from the console.
Where did that thing come from? He didn't pass me, honest. He must have been hiding in the shadows of the room. And he's wearing a thermic suit. That's why he's not in hibernation.
Unnecessary discomfort for a proud duty. I welcome the new ground commander of our simulacra.